Welcome to Empirical Pre-Pod.
All right, let's see what happens.
Cool beans.
Cool beans. We're here with Jen. Do you go by Jenny always?
If we're talking like artist name,
Sure.
I
feel like I'm the only asshole who calls you Jen.
A lot of people call me Jen, but that's mostly my family, and I played soccer, so like Jenny was too long on the field,
Right.
so everybody ended up calling me Jen.
That's funny because when I played soccer, which was a very small part of my life, they just called me T.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. We called my friend Taylor T on
yeah,
my club team. Yeah,
that makes sense. Never Jennifer?
no, not unless I'm in trouble, and it's my.
It feels like, even saying out loud, I'm like, oh, what did I do?
Yeah, what did I do? Yeah.
So where does your life begin? Oh, let me finish your intro. Jesus Christ. This is my first time. We're here with Jen Scara. I always, because when we worked together at school, your name was Miss Scara, and I always said mascara.
Yeah.
Because I always thought that was funny.
Yeah, all the kids said that too.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the humor of a 12-year-old.
Yeah, no, me too. I thought it was funny. That's why I let them keep calling me that, because I thought it was funny.
So where does your life begin? Because you're not from here.
I was born in New Jersey.
Yeah. Did you live in New Jersey long?
For like 3 months when I was a baby.
Yeah,
and then I moved to Batavia.
Does it bother you that you didn't get an accent?
Well, okay, so kinda, but it comes out like, cuz my dad more than my mom, but my parents have an accent, and when I'm angry and when I'm with my family and we're like all hollering at each other, then it like comes out.
Presents itself.
Yeah, but
It's got to be pretty buried since you barely got to, like, your parents are around, but you weren't like raised in that culture.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that the Jersey accent is really cool. And it comes out sometimes, like if I've been drinking, it comes out like but I spent a lot of time there as a kid though, because we went, like my whole family's from there. So we were the only ones that didn't live there. So we went back there all the time.
Oh, okay. It's not that, like, did you guys drive or fly back
We
there?
drove. Yeah, it was like 12-hour drive.
Yeah. Which is like, I
loved it. I brought a little TV in the car, and
really?
I would bring my TV, and I would bring my GameCube, and I would just play video games the whole car ride. It was awesome.
GameCube.
Yeah.
So in my head, you're the same age as a junior high kid, which I know is not true, but I just equate you and junior high kids all in the same group. How old are you now?
26.
Okay, yeah, so you're still a baby. Because I'm trying to think, how did you have a GameCube?
Oh, yeah. That was my first,
you
technically my
born
first.
In 99?
98.
Ugh,
Yeah.
that's painful to hear.
When were you born?
I don't want to talk about it. My birthday just happened, and I just turned 42.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thanks. But it's still gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the way back in 83. See, I had the original Nintendo when it came out in 85.
That's cool, though. That's really cool.
Yeah, but I'd also know that you've gone back and enjoy retro gaming.
Oh, yeah. I have a N64.
Yeah.
That was my first console.
You're going to notice that this show jumps around a lot. So my
we're
brain's
chilling.
just going.
That's how my brain is.
And I'm just going to keep saying it as I think about it.
Yeah. No, that's how my brain is. So we're chilling.
Yeah. So, but a Nintendo 64, that's awesome. That's
I got
cool
the OG
system,
Smash Bros. I have Ocarina of Time. I have
that's still the best Mario Kart too.
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, actually, I think Double Dash is better, but that's because I'm better at Double Dash.
I think that's probably fair.
Yeah.
But I think
that is a good Mario
Kart.
Kart.
That Rainbow Road is just so.
It's so good.
It's really good,
it's great.
Yeah. So you guys would drive back and forth a lot, so that's good. At least you still got to be submerged. In there sometime. Your whole family's still out there, still, eh?
Yeah. Well, my Uncle Joe and my cousin Joe live in Florida now. Pop lives in Florida, but he's always lived in Florida.
As they get older, they have to go to Florida.
Yeah, that's it's the Jersey to Florida pipeline, yeah. But he goes back to New York over the summer because it gets too hot in Florida in the winter. So he goes to New York and stays with my aunt. But yeah, that everybody's still in Jersey or New York. Like New York, not like the city, but like just above the border of New Jersey is where my aunt lives.
Yeah.
Town called Warwick.
Warwick?
It's so pretty. I
Yeah.
love where she lives. It's
Really?
so awesome. Yeah, it's like super. It's like hilly. The whole thing is like really big mountains and hills, but
Yeah.
where she lives, it's like really hilly and like farmy kind of, but like lots of trees, but like farms on hills. It's so nice.
I think it's easy to forget that Jersey and New York aren't just city.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's actually a lot of beautiful nature places out there.
Yeah, that's
are
where my
pretty cool.
cousins live on my mom's side in
Yeah.
like Northwest Jersey. That is like Morris County. It's like, oh my God, it's so pretty. It's just like mountains, and my cousins live like in the middle of nowhere and in like on a mountain. It's so nice. I loved going. That's my favorite
Yeah.
place as a kid. Like I loved going there, and we would just go into the woods and like go to the creek and catch tadpoles and
Nice.
just like hike around and
Yeah.
make up weird games.
Like you do.
Yeah.
So I know we're jumping ahead, but before we go back in chronological order, do you still go with the family, or do you find time to get out there now?
Yeah.
You're older, you're very busy.
Yeah. We don't go like our usual time when I was a kid was 4th of July, and we would go
Yeah.
out for like 2 or 3 weeks. But now it like still kind of falls around 4th of July sometimes, but sometimes like I've gone by myself, or if there's like my cousin had a wedding in October or November, I think. And his wife had a bridal shower before they got married, so we didn't go over the summer. Well, actually we did, because I had a show out there in New York, so I did. But I didn't like see my family. They came to my show, and that was really all I saw. But we went out there for the bridal shower, and we went out there for the wedding, so we didn't go out there as a family in the summer. So it kind of like, now that we're older, it kind of like jumps around a little bit when we get out there, but we usually get out there at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were saying too, we kind of alluded to you played soccer.
Yeah.
So you were a sporty kid?
Yeah, I was a really sporty kid. I was just like, I mean, still am, but I was just very athletic and like good at sports. And I liked running around and like roughhousing. So, yeah, I learned to play soccer in my neighborhood in the cul-de-sac. All my neighbors were boys, and they all played soccer.
So you lived in a cul-de-sac.
Yeah, I still live in the cul-de-sac.
I feel like the cul-de-sac is a whole different kind of growing up
Oh my God, it's the best.
than just being on a street. Yeah, because you've
Yeah,
got
it's
kind of
the
like
best.
a built-in nice play area.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah, that was the best. That's how I learned to play soccer. Was we would have goals on, like, it was like the mailbox to the crack in the curb, and then the mailbox to this weird blue line that was on the curb.
Yeah.
And we would make teams and play soccer like literally the whole day.
You folks still in the same house?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can still play soccer.
Yeah. I could. I don't anymore. Everybody's like moved away, but I could if I
I bet
wanted
there's still
to.
kids around.
Well, yeah, but I'm not gonna play with a bunch of kids. That'd be weird. Hey,
Oh.
kids, come over.
It is, it's funny because I also already alluded that we worked at the school together. It's funny how many of the kids wanted to hang out with people like us.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because we had all the same interests.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we can't. Like, I
Like,
get it.
guys.
That's weird. Don't. You're gonna get us in trouble.
And they were like, but why not? I'm like,
Right.
you will understand when you're my age.
Well, see, what
you'll
weirds me out
understand.
is that if I turn around and then I'm like, well, I do play games with my nephew and niece.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or if I have my friends that have kids, then I'm like, that's okay.
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, if theoretically, if they brought their friends over, that would be okay to an extent also.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just weird how it's like these kids are dying for a role model in their life.
Yeah.
And dying for an adult that treats them like a person. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, nope, can't do that. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're going to have to figure that out on your own.
Yeah, that was a really weird, like, relationship to navigate with kids. Like, especially being a teacher. Because, like you
Yeah.
said, like, we're so similar to the
It
kids.
was different for me as a parent because I
Yeah.
didn't. You had to set an example as a teacher.
Yeah. It was weird, like, what I was going to say before we started was when I got there, I realized like how much I love teaching, but how I could never be a teacher.
Right.
Because the other there are a lot of great teachers there, like Mr. Thomas and Mrs. Geeson. Like they're like my homies, and like Frico, like she's the homie.
Yeah. Annie's amazing.
Like people like that, like they're all great. But then like the standard of being a teacher is like so many of them were just like trying to be in charge.
Yeah.
And like demanding respect. And like you said, like talking down to the kids. Like talking to them like they're stupid and don't know anything. Like, they are stupid and don't know anything.
Right.
They're 11.
It's your job to make them not feel that way.
Yeah.
And
like
to navigate them to the correct direction.
Yeah. It was like so weird. And then like the I feel like the admin like wanted it to be more like that. You need to be the one in charge and bossing them around. Like, no, dog, they're like, kids, like, at least when I was a kid and watching those kids, like, when they got bossed around, it was that was the stuff they didn't listen to.
Right.
But, like, when you gave them a good example and, like, treated them like a human being, that was, like, when they did behave.
Well, I'm going to expose myself here as an idiot because I do so much misinformation and I'm so stupid on this show all the time. But I believe it's Lao Tzu that says the more rules you have, the more criminals you have. So the rules are what creates the bad behavior, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the same thing in the school. The authoritarian teachers have the most problems with the kids.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to create something that doesn't need to exist. Mm-hmm. Like the kids are for the most part are very receptive and very easygoing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You can screw that up when the way you talk to them and the way you interact with them.
Yeah.
You know, and I can understand. I get it that you can't have kids just ruining the experience for everybody. Mm-hmm. And there's definitely one-offs that need to be dealt with.
Yeah.
But as a whole.
They were all like really. I was surprised, honestly, like with how well behaved they were.
Yeah.
Because not knowing how middle schoolers are going to be going into that, I thought they were going to be like insane and extremely disrespectful, especially like being a sub. But they were really. They like once it was like you got to know how to incentivize them to do what they're supposed to do, and how to disincentivize them to not do what they're not supposed to do, which isn't do this. You need to do this because I said so. Right. Like a kid needs to like, especially me. I used a lot of my own like experience as a kid, like an adult as a former child. I used a lot of like when I was a kid, I hated rules that I didn't understand. If I did not know why I was supposed to be doing something, then I didn't want to do it. Right. Like I needed to know.
See, that carried over into my work life also, where I'm like, if you can't get me to buy into the rules, how am I going to get my team to buy into the rules? Yeah. Because if I don't give a shit, they're not going to give a shit.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So like explaining to the kids why, like so many kids would be like, we're doing like classwork or working on homework or something. They're like, I don't understand why we have to do this. And I would just sit them down and be like, look, what you're doing specifically right now, you're working on math problems. I'm going to tell you that in the grand scheme of life, these math problems that you're doing, they don't matter. But the fact that you're doing something that you don't want to do, but it's good for you, and you're practicing that habit, it's going to make you a better person in the long run. Because you're building this good foundation of doing things that are good for you and for your health, even when you don't want to. And then when I explained it to them like that, they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah. Like this isn't to make you know math. It's to help you become a better person and to help your future self.
Yeah. It's always heartbreaking to me because I do firmly believe that every teacher gets into it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But I think that they lose sight of that on the journey and the evolution. And that's what sucks is like, I think one of the reasons that you and I bonded so fast is that we still approach life as the awkward adolescent who remembers what it was like to come up. Yeah. However, our experiences was coming up, we never lost that. And we still have that, I've still got it even in my 40s where I'm like, no, I know what these kids are going through. It might look different. It might have different words now. Yeah. But the experience is the exact same. Yeah. It's a universal experience. And I think that's what keeps us able to bond with them and for them to attach to us is because I don't think we can lose that if we tried. Yeah. I think that's also, I
feel like it's like we just don't take life so seriously.
Right, yeah. Well, it's funny to me because we're also both musicians. Yeah. And like we've walked a very similar path. Mm-hmm. It makes me very nostalgic whenever I see you releasing more music or doing more shows. And I'm like, her career's starting, mine's dwindling down. So sad. Well, we'll get there. Let's go back to just past the Nintendo 64. So your whole life's then basically been out here. So you went to school here?
Yeah, I went to Rotolo.
Did you really?
Yeah, I didn't tell you that.
I feel like I knew that, but
I went there. I grew up in Batavia schools. I went to Louise White, and then I went to Rotolo, and I went to Batavia.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Was it weird to then work there? Like, were any of some of the teachers had to be there when you came through?
It was like, I think it was really healing. Honestly,
really?
Because I loved school as a kid.
Really?
I loved school. Super, I loved that job because I love being around other people. Yeah. And I loved talking to other people and getting to know people and just I'm very extroverted. That's also probably why I'm good on stage is because I just love other people. But yeah, just going there again and sort of being able to, it was almost doing being there for the kids but also being there for myself and doing it one more time. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I loved it.
I'd be curious as a sub, because it's not, you're not doing the same thing every day, being a teacher.
I loved that.
Because as a para, in a lot of ways, it felt like just going to junior high.
Yeah.
And just instead of having to do the work, I'm helping somebody else do the work.
Yeah.
Did you kind of feel that same way? Where you're saying is I have a chance to do it again.
Yeah. Well, so every day for me, I would walk in and I didn't know what I was doing unless I was assigned something. But so every day was different, which I loved. Yeah. I loved not knowing what I was going to do that day.
I can't stand when things get tedious and monotonous.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they offered me a job as a para and I was I thought about it. I was I would have to be with the same kids. I loved seeing different kids too and getting to interact with different teachers and getting to know everyone throughout the whole school. Yeah. Because if I was a para, I would just be with the same kids doing the same thing every day, which these kids are cool. Yeah. And also I want to get to know everybody and have an impact on all the kids, you know?
See, I tried to implement a couple of programs that I thought would be good for just that, kind of bringing people together and giving them opportunities to talk to people that they might not normally get to talk to. Mm-hmm. But everything gets shut down. They don't want to do anything.
Yeah, that's the school, the admin, nice people individually, but just as a collective.
Yeah, well, that's not even just that. The entity of admins everywhere.
Of administration, yeah, is just so weird and so dog. These are kids, man. What are you what are you taking yourself? That's the like. Why are you taking yourself so seriously? You work in a middle school. Like, what are you doing?
This is life and death.
Like a
Jen.
kid just said "skibbity toilet" to you, and
Yeah.
you're gonna take that? Like,
Worse, that's gonna ruin somebody's day.
yeah, that was the worst. Some teachers had like banned words in their classroom, and it was like "skibbity toilet" and like "riz" and just whatever was like popular at the time. The teachers would ban in their classroom because they, for no reason other than that, it was annoying.
Yeah.
But like, bro, it's not annoying. It's literally hilarious. Skibbity toilet is hilarious.
It is
if you
objectively funny.
It is. Like, if you know what they're talking about, bro, it is. I wouldn't be caught dead getting called skibbity toilet. Okay. Having skibbity toilet riz? Nuh-uh, bro.
But see, they don't realize that they're playing into the wrong thing also by letting them know that it annoys you. Now they've got you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, you just handed them
You
a wild
can't be
card.
annoyed by anything.
Right.
Because
you gotta
if you
no-sell everything.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they know, and once they got you, game over. You've lost
Yeah.
control of that room.
Oh, yeah. Once they know how to push a button,
Yeah.
that's...
I got kicked out of class by a teacher. I was requested out of her class.
Really?
Yeah, because I wouldn't stop the kids from just shutting her room down.
Really?
And I'm like, but I can't stand the way you treat the kids. So
You wouldn't... Like, what were you supposed to do?
You're
in charge of one kid.
I was there for 3 kids.
Oh.
But I really only hung out with one because everybody's different how
Right.
much they need
Yeah.
you. And like when we were done doing stuff, I would let him do whatever he wanted. Like, all right, it was a math class. He was really good at math, and he didn't act out as much or at all when I was there. So he'd do his work, and then when he was done his work, I'm like, all right, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then we would just do stuff, or we would talk quietly and stuff. It would just piss her off that I would like. I got in a lot of trouble actually.
Really?
Oh yeah, like I got talked to a lot of just like, you know, just my attitude of like, not, you know, you're not authoritative enough. You're not, you know, doing whatever. I'm like, the kids are doing their work.
Yeah.
They are way happier than they've ever been. That's the thing that finally ruined it for me is when I hit a wall of how much the administration is allowed or willing to help these kids.
Yeah.
And once I realized what that wall was, I was like, this is uncomfortable now. Because we all know the problems, but we're all pretending that it's okay.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because genuinely tragic things happened while I was there. And it was like just such a blasé attitude about it.
Yeah.
It was infuriating.
Yeah. Like when a kid would act out or they would do that, like what bothered me was like when a kid would do something that was clearly like a cry for help and then they would just throw him in ISS for 3 days.
Yep.
Like that's gonna solve literally anything.
Yeah. Yeah. When I heard that other students are being bullied by this group, and they're literally going to admin and is like, why isn't anybody doing anything about this? Like, and that's not just where we work's problem. That's a big problem.
Yeah.
But that's when you're like, okay, are we actually here to help them, or are we here to just kind of get them through as
Push
quietly
them
as
along.
possible?
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
And that's what I couldn't stand. Like
Yeah.
that's when I started reevaluating the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I loved it. I mean, if it paid a livable wage, I would do that forever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
But then when you start seeing stuff like that, like that's why I get excited and I applaud people like Annie who are like, because Annie will also be like an absolute bulldozer. Like, no, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
You know, she's the right person for those kind of jobs, and every kid would love Annie. Like, she knows how to relate to anybody.
Yeah.
And
she's like us and like, again, like Mr. Thomas, like just not. It's like if you take yourself too seriously, the kids are gonna hate you.
Right.
And if you're just like, if you don't take yourself so seriously and you're just a positive person that like has empathy and compassion for
Right.
others and wants to see the kids succeed,
Yeah.
the kids will like you. Like it's
Right.
not that hard.
Yeah, the kids aren't stupid.
Yeah.
So I've said this a million times, but my favorite, because junior high kids are my favorite. They're my favorite because they're just realizing adults are full of shit.
Yeah.
and they're trying to
yeah.
put that together and realize what that means.
Yeah.
As they're just coming into their own personalities for the first time, and that's what I love watching is that. And if I can play a positive role in that,
Yeah.
and maybe help them avoid some of the pitfalls or the tragedy and trauma that I've seen or
Yeah.
dealt with, I want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt too.
Yeah.
Yeah, working there was great. But
Great.
It was great and, not great. It was great with the kids and the cool teachers, but with the admin and the lame teachers, it was not cool.
Do you think you'll ever go back to teaching, or do you think that's
No.
chapters?
I want to do music, so
Yeah.
no.
Well, music's not mutually exclusive.
Well, I wouldn't want to no. I don't think I wouldn't want to go get my teaching degree. I wouldn't if I was subbing
Are you not able to teach now?
Huh?
You just I'm not smart, remember? So are you still able to sub now?
I could, but I don't.
Right. But you'd have to get a separate teaching degree to actually be a teacher?
Yeah, I didn't go to school to teach. I have my master's in political science.
And that allows you to be a sub?
The rule is that you just need your master's degree, or you
In
just need your
anything?
bachelor's degree
In anything?
in anything.
That's
All you need is a bachelor's degree.
so
It was
funny to me.
It was because of COVID and
Yeah.
a lack of subs, so they were super desperate.
I love that. So you don't have anything that says you can be a teacher. Now it's making a lot more sense when I was seeing this in the rooms.
Yeah.
So now I love the fact too that you have a degree in political science,
Yeah.
but now you're teaching junior high.
Yeah. But I
That's
in undergrad and in my grad degree, I was I TA'd all the time and I was a GA, so I knew how to facilitate a classroom.
Sure, yeah.
But the jump from facilitating classes with college kids to middle school kids was crazy.
Is that where you do the TA and GA were at college
Yeah,
level?
well, that was in college, so it was just
It's different when people
it
are paying
was
to
so
be there.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was way different when people were paying to be there because if somebody was not paying attention or like talking during class, I could just call them. Am I allowed to swear on this podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, bet. If like a kid was, if one of the students was like being annoying or like talking during like while the professor's lecturing, I could just be like, "Yo, shut the fuck up,"
Yeah.
or leave.
Right.
It's your money.
I can't believe that people
Like-
would even be disruptive at the college level.
It's just the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they was some people would just sit there and like talk the whole time. But that's what my professor that I worked under. He was my mentor in college. He's the best. He would say like on the first day of school, or the first day of classes, he'd be like, if you never come to this class, I am not taking attendance grades.
Right.
I'll give you 13 quizzes. I'll drop your 3 lowest grades, and you'll have 3 exams. I'm not taking attendance. If you don't show up at all, I do not care because I'm not the one paying for this class.
Right.
You're paying for the class.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to show up and you want to waste your money, I don't care.
Yeah.
So
I think there's an appeal to that college level where you are able to relinquish some of that control of trying to control a class of students, where it's like, no, you're choosing to be here, not forced to be here now.
exactly.
Now let's actually learn stuff and let's move forward. It's a whole different level.
Yeah.
Like you're definitely not learning, like when you learn U.S. history in high school, that's not what you're learning in college.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
That makes sense. Did you struggle with disciplining the kids?
Yeah.
Or being authoritative in general? Like, 'cause
Not
some kids are dicks just to be dicks. And they're
yeah.
testing.
Well, if a kid like said something to me that was disrespectful, it was usually they were trying to just be funny.
Sure.
To which, bro, I was born in Jersey. My
Right.
family's from Jersey.
Yeah.
I would just snap it right back at them
Yeah.
and make the whole class laugh at them. And they would like, one kid literally, I said that to him and the whole class laughed. I said something to him and the whole class laughed and his jaw just dropped.
Yeah.
And he just gave me knucks.
Right.
He was like, respect. I was like, yeah, Like I didn't really have to discipline a lot.
Yeah.
I did sometimes, but I usually didn't because the kids either like were just respectful or I could, like, they knew when I was mad. Like, I would say, if they were, like, some of the kids were being annoying, I would, like, tell them they were being annoying or whatever, and it would be funny. But then it would get to a certain point, and I would, like, have asked them to stop doing whatever, like, 3 times. And I'm like, okay, listen, before I was funny annoyed,
right.
and now I'm, like, actually mad and annoyed. So if you don't stop, I am going to send you to the dean,
right.
and I don't care.
Yeah.
And they would be like, well, and they would stop.
I think sarcasm goes along with, like you're saying, they're trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And they're still learning, like, what's okay and what's not okay, and a lot of where those lines are. Because I use a lot of sarcasm now. Like, I was mentioning before we got on, I ride on a special needs bus, and so they're all special needs kids, and I am so sarcastic and mean to them in the funnest way that they love.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's this kid on the bus that's always coughing, and I'm like, cover your mouth. And then, like, I'm buckling him in, and he'll cough right in my face. And I'm like, I hate you so much. And he just smiles and loves it so much. Because he knows, like,
yeah.
as long as you can see my face, like, I'm never serious about it.
Yeah.
So I've never had to deal with disciplining kids either. Because even in the junior high, I was just like, bro, can you just not?
Yeah.
I remember my first day, I was dealing with a kid that I was already warned about by everybody. And our first interaction, I was like, are you doing this just to be a dick?
Yeah.
Like, because if you're just doing just to be a dick, just let me know.
Yeah.
Because then I know that it's not me.
Yeah.
And this is just what you do. And he was just like, same thing. He just shut him down immediately.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, talk to him like a person and they're fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if there's, if a kid was like, I don't know, saying something out of turn in class, I would just be like, yo, what are you doing? And just make them stop and, like, think. Like, what are you...
Yeah.
Bro, what are you doing right now? Because, like, I'm trying to teach.
Yeah.
And I'm talking, but also you're talking. And you see how if you're talking and I'm talking, nobody can hear what I'm trying to say. And then everybody ends up doing bad on the test. And it ends up being your fault.
Right.
So you should stop doing that. And the kid would be like, okay, I'll stop. And then it wouldn't be a problem anymore.
That I always struggled with too is I am funny. So as the teachers would talk, I'd be like interjecting things for myself.
Yeah.
And trying not to say them out loud.
Yeah. There was one time, this is like I tell this story to so many people. There's this kid, this is in 6th grade, and oh my God, it was so funny. So it was in a science class, and the teacher, they were doing like a rock lab where they were testing the hardness of rocks. And for one of the things, she was showing how to test it and like how to find like which rocks are harder than others. And the first thing that you had to scratch it with was your fingernail. And she was like, if you scratch it with your fingernail and there's a scratch on the rock, it means that your fingernail is harder than the rock. And it was like at the time when all the Drake memes were like popping off, and the kid goes, yo, chat, would y'all rather scratch a rock or spend a night with Drake? And I died. Dude, I had to turn around. Like, I was cracking up. But then it was also like she was trying to teach. So I went up to him later, and this is like the explanation of like why you need to follow the rules. Like, why are there rules? I went up to him when she was done talking. I was like, yo, listen, that joke you said about Drake, I have to be honest, was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. Super funny. Yeah. And you also said it while the teacher was talking. So now it's like, it's not funny. It's just disrespectful.
Time and place.
I was like, but if you save a joke like that for a time that's appropriate, then you're not disrespectful. You're just funny.
Right.
And that's way better.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he like understood.
So I like that because I get the impulse to just blurt.
Yeah, because that's hilarious.
Right. But then when it's like, all right, time and place.
Yeah.
And then you'll be a goddamn hero.
Exactly. Like, you can just be funny. You don't
Yeah.
have to be disrespectful and kind of funny. You
Right.
can just be really funny, and that's it.
So you played a lot of sports starting at a young age. Did you play? I feel like we had a conversation once. You ended up playing soccer like for a long time.
Yeah, I played in college, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you a D1 athlete?
Yeah, I played at Illinois State.
I don't know what that means because I'm still stupid. Is there more? Is there D1, D2?
D1, D2, D3. There's also NAIA. But D1, there's also layers to D1. So, like, playing in the Big Ten, and that's mostly football, but, like,
Yeah.
D1A would be, like, U of I. But then I think Illinois State...
the level is based on the school you go to?
Yeah, it I don't know how they quantify the schools. Like, I don't know how they place them at certain levels, but
Yeah.
I know that I'm pretty sure Illinois State for at least football was D1 AAA. Like, there's big conferences and then there's like smaller conferences that are like it might have to do with funding. It might have to do like, I don't know, like Big Ten is like obviously like D1A, like,
Right.
you know,
So it
those
seems like the
whatever.
more
But then
prestigious the school.
well, it's not even like really matter of prestige,
Okay.
like because prestige, if you're just talking about sports,
Right.
then sure, but also at the same time, like it depends on the sport, because like Illinois State was an amazing school to go to for track and field, like
Right.
they were really really good, but maybe a school like U of I don't know how good their track team was, but like a school like U of I, which is technically a bigger school and more prestigious, quote unquote, like say like their track team wasn't as good as Illinois State, you know,
Right.
not actually, but it just kind of depended on the sport. But we're in the Missouri Valley Conference, which was like a small, like have you ever heard of the Missouri Valley Conference?
I've heard of Missouri.
Well, there you go. That's like you've heard of the Big Ten, but you haven't heard of the Missouri Valley Conference. But they're both D1.
Listen, my sports knowledge is solely wrestling based.
WWE.
Yes.
Bruh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And it's too much.
Yeah.
I know all about that.
Yeah.
But the one of the things too you had mentioned when we were talking about you going back to the junior high in a teaching sense is you used the word healing.
Oh yeah.
So when you came up initially, was it not the best experience?
No, it was healing in the sense that like, well, no, in middle school, I feel like when you're in middle school is like weird because you're, you know,
Just figuring it
a
out.
middle schooler.
Yeah.
So like in that sense, like going back there as an adult and like sort of like being able to actually experience it
Yeah.
and like really actually remember it.
Do you ever have like not an identity crisis, but like did you ever have a hard time kind of coming into yourself in general?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Would that be as early as junior high or earlier, or do you think maybe a little after?
Probably 7th grade was when I realized I had a crush on a girl for the first time. So that was probably when it became like, that was when I had an identity crisis. I'm like, uh-oh.
Really? If, like that initial thing, when something like that happens, I'm like, because of the unfortunate society that we live in and just kind of how things go on a grand scale, at first were you like, this isn't right?
Oh, yeah. It was, I remember thinking, well, I'm going to have to die with this secret.
Right.
Because you're in 7th grade and you're like, well, I can't tell anybody.
I'm doing this wrong already.
Yeah. Or like just the deny, like, I'm not gay. That's gay.
Did you feel that, like, even in 7th grade when that started creeping in, where you're like, oh no, or not even oh no, just in general, I'm definitely gay.
Yeah. But it wasn't like it was weird because it was like I had a crush on this girl, but at the same time, I was like denying, like I wasn't accepting of myself. I wasn't accepting it.
Yeah.
But I like, it was like, I'm not gay. No. But I was like, it was like, to myself the whole time, but also like still acknowledging that I had a crush on this girl, but like without acknowledging being gay. It was really weird. It was just like really weird.
I think that's a lot to handle, especially at that age. But I also, just personally, I think words are weird. Mm-hmm. Because I understand that we as a society want to organize. Mm-hmm. But when we organize, we take it too far of just trying to organize for structure's sake. Yeah. And now putting people in boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know if this is coming out correctly. I don't think the word gay needs to exist. You just like what you like. Like, sexuality is a spectrum, right?
People just need, people.
But they need to put you in a box.
Yeah.
And
people like to understand
only to keep you
with
separate.
Labels. Yeah.
And that's the problem. Like, I believe that eventually that goes away.
Yeah.
At least hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Like, because I don't need to be labeled straight. It's just weird to me that we're keeping tabs on it. And again, I
also think that.
We're still in like the infancy realistically.
Yeah.
Like, it's only been 80, I mean, not for gay people. Gay people have been around forever.
Yeah.
But like, as far as us structuring it this way and being weird about it, we're still in a
agree.
societal infancy.
Yeah.
I think as we grow, we'll stop being so stupid.
Yeah.
And we'll be like, oh, we can just do away with all this.
Yeah. I think the same thing about pronouns. Like,
yeah.
So, like, I've been asked what my pronouns are so many times. I'm like, I don't give a shit what you call me. You can call me whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
I've always been a girl, and like,
sure.
But
like,
if you want to, like,
weight in identifying as a girl, or is just like
that's the thing. Like, right. And it's so you're non-binary. No, like I'm not. I just am a fucking. Right. I'm just a human being.
You're
like,
thinking about it too much. I'm not thinking about it at all.
It's like my pronouns are I don't care. Like, right. I do not fucking care at all what anyone wants to call me. I never have to refer to myself.
Right.
Like, I'm. You don't have to call your own name. So,
right.
Like, what do I don't care. It's you that cares. Like, right. Just say whatever you think is right. And I mean, when I was working at Schnucks, I got called a man so many times. Like, not called a man, but like, I'd be turning around and like putting something away, and somebody would walk up and like tap my shoulder, be like, "Excuse me, sir," and I would turn around and they'd be like, "I'm so sorry." I'd be like, "Dude, it happened like twice already today."
And I'm sure it never ruined your day.
No, I did. Yeah. Like, I don't care.
Like, I can 100% get on board and understand somebody that doesn't feel correct in their body.
Yeah,
taking that personally, 100%.
Yeah,
but it's also a point of like picking your battles. And like, what really matters, grand scale.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like for me, I don't know, like, labels for me, like, I don't like them personally. My grandpa said once the doctor diagnosed him with diabetes, and he said, "Don't put your labels on me." So I guess not liking labels kind of runs in my family. But
I like that your grandpa doesn't identify as having diabetes.
Oh, dude, it was so fun. My mom took him to the hospital because he had like over 400 blood sugar.
Holy Christ.
He should have been dead.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, "Yeah, you have diabetes." And he's like,
"Don't put your labels on me."
She's like, "What are you talking about?"
Did you ever mention your crush to that girl in 7th grade or no?
Oh, no.
No?
No.
Did you stay on it for, like, did you date in high school?
No. I didn't come out until I was done with, I didn't come out to my mom until like a week before I left for college.
Really?
Maybe the day before, actually. Okay. Yeah, it took me a while. Well, I grew up Catholic, so.
So you're an abomination.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm a little,
Yeah.
I was in high school. I'm
Do you still
exactly
are
an
you still
abomination.
Catholic? I noticed you wear your cross.
Oh no, I'm just Italian.
Yeah, right.
I wear the cross because I'm Italian.
So
I just like the way it
you're
looks.
painfully Italian. That's probably why, because I feel like from the back you look like an Italian man.
Yeah, exactly. With the long hair,
Yeah.
like Fabio or something. Yeah, no, not Catholic. I was like kind of spiritual in grad school, but then like tripped out really bad and like had an existential crisis of, but what if nothing is real?
Yeah.
Then does anything matter? And that freaked me out. So
See, I
now,
love that, because if nothing matters, everything matters. Like they're the same.
yeah, that's true too. But if everything matters, it was just a bad trip. But it kind of made me realize, like, why do we care?
Right.
Like, everybody subscribes, not everybody, but a lot of people subscribe to their own little philosophy of what they think is going to happen after they're dead. And they're trying to, like, predict it and figure it out. And I was doing that too. Like,
Yeah.
this is what I think happens, and it has to be right. Like,
Right.
okay, but what happens if you're wrong? Like,
Yeah.
Why, how about just, I don't have to think about it, because when it happens, I'll be dead. And
Yeah.
I'll either know or I'll be just dead. And like,
Right.
what do I care right now?
This has been coming up actually on a few episodes this season. Because I'm not a religious person. I'm an agnostic person. And I keep saying the same point. I don't believe that we as humans have the capacity to understand anything that cosmic.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it matters in our existence anyway.
Exactly. If we were supposed to know, we would know.
Right.
Like,
I also think that the only thing divine in existence is life.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then I don't think that, like, I don't separate humans from nature. Most humans do as a society. Like, we
Yeah, you
consider
just kinda do.
It's us versus nature.
Yeah.
But I consider all of existence one experience.
Yeah.
And we just happen to experience it subjectively, individually. But we're still part of one giant thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah, that's how I think about it.
that's as cosmic
too.
as I need to go.
Yeah, that's how I think about it too. Like, it's like everybody is like humans in general. Like, I think about that a lot with like wars and fighting and like people being mean to each other. And it's like dog, like you're both the same thing. Like, why are you being mean to that person?
Yeah.
Like, you're also, or people that are like, I hate people. Every time people say that to me, I'm like, bro, don't you know you're a people too? Like,
Well,
other people.
You just
okay?
ruined it for them because they clearly hate themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Like, like you're a like, what do you mean you hate other people? Like,
Yeah. Usually when people
also
complain about things they don't like in other people are what they despise about themselves.
yeah,
It's just a very, very thin veil.
yeah.
So you went through junior high. It didn't seem like you had that bad of a time.
I had a great time.
Yeah.
Like, despite the sexuality denial and stuffing that all down.
Did you keep it stuffed through high school then?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You said you didn't date, but did you at least, were you slowly like coming, I hesitate to say coming to terms, because it sounds like it's a condition that you're just having to deal with. But like, did you start to at least accept who you were?
Yeah, that took like probably beginning of college was more.
So that's
the college
did you go to
was
college
nice.
right after high school?
Yeah, so college was nice because
That's only really 7 years. 7 or 8 years, right? Because you're 26.
oh yeah, I guess.
So
Oh, geez.
that's still like
8 years, yeah.
relatively new.
Yeah, I guess I only did come out 8 years ago. Huh. What a thought. Good job, me. Yeah, it took me like probably a good 2 years to like accept it. Like, that was like my first 2 years of college.
Yeah.
And it really helped going to college and like already having come out to some friends at home and like my family, and then being able to just like start fresh with all these people, and I remember thinking, like, I can just tell them, like, there's no, like, they don't know me.
Right.
So I can just present how I want to present.
Yeah.
And, like, be myself.
Yeah.
And I remember being, like, still nervous, but, like, being able to go to college and just, like, be out was really nice.
Yeah.
It was, like, good. It was pretty good timing. Coming out in high school and, like, because everybody already has, like, an idea of you in their head, and, like, you know, and now, like, you have to come out and, like, change that idea of them,
Right.
of yourself in their head. Like, that was, like, really daunting to me.
Did you feel like you not hiding, but like you were not your authentic self then?
No, because I was still very, like, in high school I was very much myself. Like,
Right.
but I just, like, didn't date anyone.
Yeah. I
Like,
imagine like when you finally told your mom that she was like,
oh my God, when I
like,
told my mom.
she was like, yeah, no shit.
No, okay, so we were in a Lowe's parking lot, and we're walking back to the car, and she's talking about, like, having kids or something. She's like, do you want to have kids? And at the time I was like, no. And she's like, why not? And I was like, because. And then in my head I was like, uh-oh. And she's like, you're not gay, are you? You're not gay, are you? I'm like, yeah, I'm gay.
She knew already.
She knew. Yeah, that was like time 5 of her asking me that too. Like,
Yeah.
well, I remember one time
not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but I gotta think that your parents, like, especially if you have a good relationship with your parents, they're seeing, and then they're even seeing the struggle, but they don't want to interfere, but they want to be available, so like they kind of check in.
Yeah, that's how my mom.
Yeah.
She was very much like, I remember her saying to me, like, we were like pulling into our cul-de-sac, and she was talking about how she never felt like she could, like, talk to her mom about personal things. So she
Yeah.
was like, I don't want to, like, I want to give you your space, but, like, I'm also, like, always here.
Right.
You know, I want you to tell me when you're feeling whatever. I want you to feel like you can tell me stuff, and which I appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was time, like, 5 of her asking me. There was one time we were in the pool. We have like an above ground pool in our backyard, and she asked my sister if she was dating anyone. My sister was like, no, and she's like, are you dating anyone, Jen? Any guys or girls?
Subtle.
Like, I was like, bruh, and I literally just got out of the pool and went inside. Like, I was like, seriously?
Yeah.
And then that was basically me saying, like, yeah, I'm gay to my mom.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was really funny.
So one of the things you said too right there is in college, once you were comfortable, because I feel like this idea of out is such an interesting concept that I have nothing to compare it to in my own life. Well, I guess that's not honestly true. It doesn't feel as important, but there's definitely little things that might be similarly in that line. But because you're not necessarily doing anything, it's more of a mindset.
Yeah.
Where you just feel free because you've had to live in like this little capsule for so long. So it's not like you're walking around stopping me and be like, just so you know.
I'm gay.
Yeah. But you're not hiding yourself finally.
Yeah.
And that's got to be absolutely like just freeing.
Yeah, that was really nice. It was like, it's so weird, like the concept of having to come out, you know, like you're trapped in this little closet.
Right.
Which is like, it's so weird, but I think it's, well, one, I grew up Catholic, and also I lived in the suburbs, so there's a lot of like conservative mindsets going on of like, boo gay people.
Yeah.
Which, true.
Yeah, well,
True.
You are killing traditional families, just so you know.
Yeah. This is, like you said, an abomination. So,
I didn't say that. Jesus did.
True. So I feel like being in the closet is more like cause especially like being young and like, you want to fit in. So if you have this quality about yourself that you think other people are gonna, it's just a human thing of you want to be included.
Sure.
So like you have this quality about yourself that you can't change that might make you get excluded from other people. Like that's like really scary.
Yeah.
And like, oh my God, the tribe is gonna kick me out. Like,
Right.
I'm gonna starve.
Yeah. But did that ever occur to you because you played sports? Did you feel like, oh no, now I'm gonna be ostracized by the team? Like they're not gonna accept me now?
I did in club. I remember one of the reasons like I was afraid to come out was because when I was like a freshman on my club soccer team, damn near everyone was straight. Unfortunately. There were a couple gays in there, but I remember like being in a hotel on an away trip and the girls like talking about this girl on the other team, and they were like, yeah, that like she had like a short haircut or something,
right.
and they're like, yeah, that girl's a total dyke. Like, oh my God, if a lesbian ever tried to hit on me, I would be so grossed out. And I remember just like sitting there and being like, yeah, that'd be so nasty. But I remember like that's the only.
But did
like,
that break your heart though a little bit?
Oh my God, yeah.
Where it's like,
yeah,
you're trying to fit in, and like you just said, you don't want to be
like
kicked
that,
out of the tribe.
Yeah,
but you know that secretly they're
like, oh
talking about you.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah, but in college, it was never like college athletics in general was very not. It was just like traumatizing. It was not good.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like that's like not a universal at all. A lot of people like enjoy their college sports experience, but for a lot of people, it's very traumatizing. And in my case, like our coach was a super fucked up dude, and I was one of like I played 4 years, but I quit. I should have quit after like I got there, but
right.
I was one of like I think like 20 girls to quit within 2 years, which is insane. That's like a whole roster for soccer,
especially for like because D1 is supposed to be like a big deal. Mm-hmm. That is insane.
Yeah, it was insane.
So at least be some sort of investigation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which we brought up that to the administration like 3 different times.
Was he just a dick, or was like gross stuff happening?
He was a dick, emotionally like super abusive.
Yeah.
There was like, it wasn't like any like, I can't speak there. I know that some of the girls have said like, there's stories that I have not been told because, the girls that it happened to didn't want to share it.
Right. Didn't
want it to be shared. They shared it with maybe like one other person on the team,
sure.
and then the administration during the investigation and stuff.
Right.
So I don't really know the full scope of it, but I do know, from what I do know, it was like the coach would be like be in the locker room, like watching TV or something. In our first of all, why are you in our locker room? You have a TV in your office.
Weird.
Why are you in here?
Yeah.
And then like it would be getting close to like a training time, and girls would need to change, and he like wouldn't leave.
Right.
So they would have to like go in the bathroom to change, which was weird. Yeah. I remember one time
that's really weird.
He would make comments about like all the time he would make comments about like us having uteruses, which was really weird. And he would call it like I remember one of my teammates got past the ball, but it was like a in the air, one of those passes, and then right. She trapped it like with her lower stomach and like trapped it and put it on the ground.
Yeah.
And he like kept calling it the uterus trap like over and over again.
Yeah.
Which was really weird.
It's just creepy.
Yeah. And I remember one girl, he he like touched her butt with one of the toms. The toms like the weird like the big thing like blow up things that you have like the dummies that you put on the field. Yeah, he like touched her butt with that, which was really weird.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah. But it was mostly like emotional. Like I said, like that kind of stuff is like obviously weird and like not okay.
Sure.
And also at the same time, there was no like, as far as I've been told, like nothing that really qualified as like hard and fast sexual harassment.
Right.
That could be like quantifiable and had sufficient evidence that could be proved in an investigation. It was pretty much all just like, this made me feel very uncomfortable or like hearsay type stuff. So like it was like those things are bad, and it was crazy because they weren't bad enough. You know?
Yeah, it's a really shitty line to have to
because
learn about.
it was the college athletics is crazy because your coach could be like emotionally abusive and like, you know, sexually harassing you in some way that doesn't have sufficient evidence to prove. And even if all the girls are saying the same thing on the team, the administration won't fire the coach because they're afraid of getting sued.
Yeah.
They would have to buy out the contract in order to fire the coach, which they don't want to do because they don't want to spend the money, or they don't want to do it because they don't want to get sued.
So I hate that. And even worse too is most of those cases when it's a school person like that, they just move them to a different. You can just go get another school job at a different school.
Yeah.
And it's like you just get to do the same thing. It's like
he like went and worked at like a club, a girls club, youth club in Utah. Like
it's so stupid.
It took me so long to not hate him and just to like hating him and like wishing him the worst. Like he wouldn't change, and he's obviously obsessed with soccer and like is going to try to continue to do that. So if he is having a bad life and stays the same, that means like the same thing is going to happen to other people. So I just got to the point where I was like, I can't carry this. Like I have to forgive this guy and like hope that he has a really great life and like sees his wrong ways and changes. So that
brings up a systematic problem, I think, that we see a lot with those exact situations, even like domestic violence to an extent too, where it's like, and what we're talking about with the junior high kids too, where like nothing can be done until it's too late.
Exactly. Like
when I'm sitting here saying this is what it's going to escalate.
Yeah.
We have all the stuff here to say it's already beginning.
Yeah.
And we know where it leads, and nobody can do anything.
Exactly.
That's a problem. And then after the fact, everybody wants to thoughts and prayers and say we could have prevented this.
Yeah, we literally could have prevented it.
Yeah.
But like you just didn't want to get sued.
Right.
But like there was a 90% chance you weren't going to get sued. Like,
you know what I would love is I'd rather the school get sued than a bunch of girls get raped.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. Like the one I don't know if I should say that. The gym teacher, Ed Rotolo. The one that everybody called creepy.
Yeah?
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like push him out. Don't.
Yeah. I think he still works there, doesn't he?
He might have retired.
I know. The older one?
No. Well, kinda.
We'll talk about it off
Yeah, we'll talk about it off there. But yeah, what were we talking about? But anyway, I went on to soccer. Okay, yeah, so soccer was a very traumatic experience for sure. But the girls, there's some girls on the team that I did not like, which was crazy, and having to like fake that was really weird. Super weird, toxic positivity. But the vast majority of the girls I loved. Yeah. And it was really nice, like, because I thought, like, Also my freshman year, I swear to God, I was the only gay one on that team. Like they're all a bunch of straighties. My
Is that what you call us?
straighties, yeah. My freshman year or my sophomore year, I think one of the girls was bi, which was like, oh, thank God. And then as I got older, there was one of my friends, Mac, is also gay, and she joined the team when I was a junior. And when she joined, I was like, okay, this girl's definitely lesbian. Thank God I have another one here.
Now, when you say this girl's definitely a lesbian,
You just know.
but like, do you?
Yeah. You just know.
Do you feel that about yourself?
Yeah. I personally feel that about myself. But I feel like straight people, no offense, like most of the time don't have a very good gaydar.
Yeah.
Or
Well, some of us
sometimes
just
they
don't
do.
think about it.
Yeah.
Like, let me tell you a story that I shouldn't tell. So when you started at the school, and I mean no disrespect, but I had a crush on you immediately.
Yeah.
And you literally have a Last Avatar.
Yeah,
tattoo.
that's true.
That
I
was
could
when
tell.
That was when I was like,
This
I wanna
girl
hang-
rocks.
I want to hang out with this person all the time. But I remember, and again, not to call anybody out or to be a dick, and I apologize in advance, but every single person that I was like, man, I got a crush on Jen, is like, she does not like boys. And I was like, but maybe.
Oh, true.
And it just
Yeah,
makes me
it's
laugh.
like I feel like I don't know if Rico's straight, but I feel like she's probably bi. But
I
but
mean,
I feel like she has a very good gaydar and
Yeah.
like would be able to tell that I was gay
yeah,
immediately.
she was the first one who was like, Jen's definitely
That
a
girl's gay.
lesbian.
Like yeah.
And I was like, you know how men are.
Yeah,
That one
they're
from,
like, nah, no, bro, that's me. That's me with straight girls. That's
Really?
that's literally me with straight girls.
That's
And
how we
I'm
bond.
like, they're like, no, she's straight. I'm like,
You just sitting there like, yeah, for now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I felt like freak. Oh, I thought my phone was vibrating. Freako definitely could tell. She's a homie.
Do you would you said you quit soccer, would you have taken it past college?
I don't know because I don't know. Like it probably not just to
Were you ready for that chapter
if
to be
college
over?
was good, like it
Right.
really like
Experience was bad.
the experience was awful.
Yeah.
Um
But you didn't have
and it-
you didn't have thoughts or dreams of like playing professionally.
well, it wasn't like I was dreaming about it.
Right.
But like it was like if the college experience was good and that opportunity arose, I probably would have done it.
Yeah.
Should I have done it? Like if that happened, should I go and do that? Probably not, because I feel like what I'm really meant to do is music.
Yeah. That's where we're gonna pivot right now.
Yeah,
I have talked you into your own segue.
yeah.
That's what I just did.
Yeah.
So when did you start dabbling in music?
So I've been writing. Well, I've been playing instruments since I was in like 9. I started playing
Yeah.
the drums, or maybe 8 or 9. I started playing the drums. And then I joined band, and I was in percussion. I like lied my way into band, which was hilarious. We were supposed to have taken 2 years of piano.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I like.
you have to have piano to do percussion.
Yeah,
Which I don't understand.
Well, it's because they give you when you're in 5th grade you play the glockenspiel, but like xylophone and marimba, as you get older, like the scale is the same.
Oh, I
It's
guess
the
that makes
same
sense.
setup
Okay.
as a piano. It's
Yeah.
just like you hit it instead of
Right.
play it.
That makes sense.
Plus, like knowing the notes.
If you can play
but-
piano, you can play anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, percussion wise, but woodwind wise, if you're bad at.
Okay, yeah, fair. But if you can play piano, you can like traditional instruments like a band would play.
Yeah,
you can-
yeah.
It relates to guitar, bass,
Yeah,
drums,
yeah,
like
yeah.
all of that.
But yeah, I told them that my mom was teaching. They're like, "Did you teach piano?" I'm like, and I joined late, so I didn't have to like do the test. And I'm like, "My mom's teaching me," and they're like, "Okay," and they let me in. And I don't even know how I learned the notes. I just learned the notes like really fast.
Oh, so you're an
and just
actual
like
musician.
figured it out.
'Cause,
Yeah.
Like I played music for a long time, and I could not read music. I've never done it. Like,
Oh yeah, I could read. I mean, like going into high
I'm
school, like you
100%
had to.
like I'm a jammer. Like
Yeah.
let's just get together and see what comes out.
Yeah.
And I learned like no matter what you play, you're only a half step off, right? Like you're in a scale somewhere.
Yeah.
So like you can figure it out.
You figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd rather just jam away.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine actually writing something with a real brain for music.
Well, okay, so I had to read that for like school, like for band and like into high school, and
Yeah.
I was in marching band and I played like I was on drumline. That was really fun.
I believe
but-
I saw this documentary called Drumline. It was pretty awesome.
The movie,
Yeah.
dude, that movie's so bad.
But the drumming's awesome. Come on. Listen, I search
It's
on
okay.
YouTube to try to listen to like marching band type stuff.
Bro, look up,
Just 'cause it's cool.
look up DCI. Have you heard of DCI? Like
No.
the Cavaliers. Yeah, bro. Look up DCI. Blue Stars. That shit is really cool. It's just brass, percussion,
Yeah.
and front ensemble, and they have color guard too. So there's no like woodwind instruments.
Sounds awesome.
It is the coolest fucking thing in the world. It's
Yeah.
like it's professional marching band
Right.
essentially.
Yeah.
Oh my god, and they're so good. That is so cool. There's a lot of kids in my high school that did DCI or WGI was like the winter indoor stuff. But I started, so that's like me playing instruments. And
So,
all
like,
that. I picked up
yeah.
guitar like when I was 15, and I started writing songs.
Did you like when you picked up guitar and started writing songs? Were those done together? Like you're writing lyrics, you're coming up with the melody in your head, like how this is gonna sing versus what it's gonna do in the guitar. Or did you have? I'd be curious if that time, because like we already talked about what you were dealing with emotionally.
Oh my god, my music
Were
was
you kind
so
of writing
melancholy.
like? That's why I'm like, was it more of like poetry that you were
Yeah.
putting to music?
yeah.
Because I feel like when I was young, that's what I felt like I was doing.
Yeah. I don't really know like how I wrote it. I remember I wanted to learn this song, and so I learned it. It was like G, C, and E minor chords. So it was like super easy. And then I learned those chords, and then my first song that I wrote is called Mine, and I just used G and C the whole time, but I put a capo on one, so actually it's G sharp to C sharp. Yeah, fancy. And I don't really even know how I did it. I just remember like writing the words and like singing them over and over until they like singing the like verses over and over until they like found a melody.
Yeah. Eventually it just flows.
Yeah, and then
So I like
remember
that
being,
organic
like-
way of writing where like you're not trying to shoehorn anything in.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah,
working
yeah.
it out. Because it sounds weird to say, but it's already there. You're more of discovering it rather than creating it.
Yeah, it was very much more like that. And I remember thinking, okay, like I got to the chorus, I was like, okay, the chorus has to be different. I just like knew that.
Yeah.
So then I made it different, and then I didn't write a bridge because I didn't feel like it. So I just had verse, chorus, and the song was over.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was my first song. I honestly like don't know how I did that. It just kind of like happened. Like I just kind of did it. I don't know
Yeah.
why I did it. I think it was just like I think I wanted to learn guitar just so I could sing.
Sure.
Because I liked singing and I knew I was good at it. So
Now, did you take any lessons or learn how to sing?
no,
Or you
I
just
just like
Get up there and kind of go for it.
so. No, I never took any lessons when I was in like fourth grade. I remember figuring out that I was good at singing, and I freaked out. I remember like Viva La Vida by Coldplay. I remember singing that at my friend's house for like their New Year's Eve party for like Rock Band, it wasn't Rock Band. It was like a Rock Band equivalent game. And I remember like doing really well, and I don't really remember how I figured it out, but I remember it was like that song. And then like the next day at school, I went and told all my friends. I was like, guys, I can sing. And I was so excited. I was so excited. And I was like, I'm going to audition for American Idol, like blah, blah, blah. Never did that.
Do you stand by that today? Do you?
What?
The fact that American Idol even exists?
Oh, I think it's fine. Like, I think whatever, whatever.
It's definitely made some incredible artists relevant,
Yeah.
but they're all in the very same vein.
Yeah.
Like,
The American Idol.
I like a band. And I
Yeah.
love female singers. It would bother me to see you as like a pop star.
Oh, yeah. I did not want to, like, that's like when I started doing music, I was like, well, I have to have a band.
Right.
Like, I was like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to get up there
Like-
with a backing track by myself.
Like Pink is one of my favorite singers in general. I just love her in general. She's awesome, and I like what she does. But then she'll flip, and she does an album with Dallas Green, where they're actually like got a band behind them and singing, and I'm like, that's what I like. That's
Yeah,
even
exactly.
better.
Exactly. Yeah. That's like why I wanted it to be like my name, Jenny Scara, but I knew I needed a band.
Yeah.
So it's ending up like a Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, but it's Jenny Scara and the Boys.
When was the first time you played with a band in general,
Oh.
or other musicians even? Because that's a whole different.
Well, I was in
ballgame.
jazz band in
Well, you used
middle
to play
school.
like in school.
Yeah, but in jazz band I was on drum set. And I remember they would play the song for us and like how it was supposed to go before we like had looked at it ourselves. And then I would just kind of remember that, and then I would just jam. Like I would not. They would get mad at the instructors would get mad at me because I was like there was like hits I was supposed to be hitting, but I was like doing something else.
Well, that's the
They're
drum.
like-
As long as you keep the time.
Yeah, like it sounded great,
Yeah.
and they're like, no, this hit's really important. I'm
That's
like,
my favorite thing. We used to piss off our singer and guitarist because me and my drummer would just the timing is there and the length is there.
Yeah.
Like you guys just you
do
keep
your
it
thing,
structured,
and we'll just do our
we're
thing.
gonna do whatever we want.
Yeah,
I don't think I
yeah.
ever played every song exactly the same
Yeah.
ever. It depends, it depends on how that day goes.
Yeah. That's what I'm learning. Like as a like the singer, and like I'm writing the songs, and like I have an idea of how they're supposed to go in my head. And at first, like with my drummer, particularly with my drummer, because I'm a drummer.
Yeah.
Like it was like the song sounds a certain way in my head.
Backseat drum.
And oh yeah. Oh my god.
I'm sure
yeah.
he loves that.
I love his name's Nick. He is a saint, bro. For me, you know how like when a man marries a woman and she's like all like rah rah rah, they're like that guy's a saint.
Yeah.
No, he's a saint. Like dealing with me and my particularity.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But I've learned over time like to just kind of let go, and if there are sometimes things in particular that I do need him to do, or like a feel that like I'm like no, like you need to lighten up, because right now it's feeling like grr, but I need it to feel like grr, you know.
Yeah.
And
Because you've got do you write everything?
well, not like
But,
sometimes
I mean, does
like
it all come from your brain as far as the vocal, the lyrics, and the guitar
the
riff?
structure. Yeah.
So, because
Yeah.
like a lot of, even though I was a bass player, a lot of our stuff came from stuff that I would jam with the drummer, and then we just slowly kind of build out that way.
Yeah.
And you
Sometimes,
can tell,
like
it was different.
yeah, sometimes like one of the songs, Fighting Not to Feel It, that I wrote well, actually, so it started because my friend Jack that was playing bass for me that time, but he's also like amazing at guitar. So he just started playing a little riff, and he was like, and I was like, that's really cool. Keep playing that. And then I told Emma, who is playing keys, I told her to put on like a organy kind of synth sound, and I was like, hold on the the C major, and then when he like finishes that phrase, go to the A minor. Then I had them play it together. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. So then that's how that song was born. Or we wrote a song. It's not out yet. It's called, it doesn't even have a name, but we just call it Crazy Man. It would probably just leave it as Crazy Man. I don't know what else I would call it.
Yeah.
But that came from my bassist now. His name's Nick Kobler. He's a god. That guy rocks. He came to me with this guitar riff, and it went like, it was in a like different key. It was like, I
hope you do every one of your songs a cappella like that.
Yeah. It's so cool, bro. It's so, I like took it and I changed the key and I slowed it down and like changed the phrasing of it a little bit, but it still is like, it has the same like element of what he originally wrote. And then I turned that into Crazy Man, which is such an awesome song. That's one of our favorites right now as a band. But
So I get it. So the other members do try to participate, and you're like, guys, it's Jen Scara and the boys. Not the boys and Jen Scara.
Well, so a lot of times, like, usually I just write my part, like I'll, sing it and I'll play it on guitar and I'll record it and then I'll just send it to the guys and just be like, okay, here's the song.
Right,
and
you let them do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And that's like whatever needs to be tweaked here and there.
Yeah. But like there's one song that we're working on it's called On and On. It's not out yet, but it's that song I like wrote it all in Logic, so I was able to like write all the parts to it.
Yeah.
And so, like sometimes I do that, but not usually. But that song I'm more particular about.
Right.
Because like everything that I wrote, like the bass part and the drum part, like it all, like the bass part and the drum part like fit together. So if it were to be played a different way, it wouldn't really make sense. I hope that's true on every song. Well, yeah, but if it were to be changed, I don't know how it would be changed, because like it's creating, like it's supposed to create, it's about like a guy that is like stuck in his like shitty ways basically. Yeah. And it's meant to feel like almost kind of gestury, like pacing back and forth. And I wanted like the drum, like the kick and the bass to like feel like that, so if it were to be changed, it would need to hold the same feeling, but I don't know how it would do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Yeah. But yeah, I
want to talk about releasing music. So you put out, was it just an EP?
Yeah.
When was
a couple
that?
weeks
Back
ago.
in like, I thought it was a while ago.
Oh no, I just put out a new one.
Another one?
Yeah, I put out that, it's called Listen Up. I put it out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That one's great.
This is not it's not a critique at all, but it's not a call out of you. I've seen it in general now that we're in the streaming world. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like music's being put out too much too fast?
So...
Because I hate, and this is me probably showing my age because I understand it's the world of streaming. I can't stand going to an artist's page and it's just single.
Yeah.
Single. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
Like, if you have that many singles, put out a project.
Yeah. So the way that, like, if you're trying to grow as a small artist right now. Yeah. Okay, if you're there, it's like 6 to 8 weeks you should be putting out a new song or like a project.
You think? Really? So
that's not like me saying like this is my preference. This is what it's become. This is like algorithmically.
Yeah. Because it's very different from when I was coming up.
Yeah.
When I was coming up, MySpace was a thing. You kids don't know about MySpace. And it was more of... Because what I'm curious is, like, we were playing songs. When you're playing live, you're playing this set list. Yeah. And this set list might not even be released yet. Mm-hmm. but you're playing that set list. So when you release those songs on a CD or on streaming, that's what people are expecting to hear because that's what they're listening to. Even though you've written a whole new set list, you just need to play these songs. Then you can slowly plug in like a couple of new tracks here and there,
Wait,
getting
I
ready
kind
for
of
the
lost
next
you.
thing.
Say that again.
So when you just put out an EP,
Right.
but you've already mentioned that you've got a few songs already ready to go.
Yeah. Well,
But-
not ready. They're not recorded.
Well, but I mean,
But
like
we
they're
play
written.
them. Yeah.
They're written.
Yeah.
But so when people go to see a show,
Mm-hmm.
they're expecting these songs that you just released, and that's what you should be playing
Mm-hmm.
until the next EP is ready. So those are tight and recorded, and then when those songs are ready to be released, now those go into the set list,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to just 6 to 8 weeks. It sounds insane to just keep releasing more stuff. Like I understand that's where we're at with social media and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a way to do it without having to like kill yourself creatively.
Yeah.
Because I would worry that like not every song is gonna be good.
Yeah. So I don't. So I just released this project, but there's no way I'm going to release anything in 8 weeks. I might put out something that I already have recorded that would just be like a here you go type thing,
Yeah.
just to stay relevant. And it's not necessarily music either. Like
Right.
when I say putting something out, like it doesn't have to be a song. Like it could be like I have, for example, an Operator. For Operator, I have a live performance recorded
Yeah.
that isn't the music video.
Right.
That I can put out in 8 weeks as
Right.
something.
See, that makes sense. So
Yeah,
like doing
it's
like
not-
an acoustic version.
Yeah.
So that you're still getting the presence, but not
Exactly.
wasting new music.
Right, exactly. It's not. It doesn't necessarily have to be, or like a merch drop, or like
yeah.
something along those lines. Like
You guys have
whatever.
merch?
Yeah, we have merch. Yeah,
wanna
you should
get
check
a
it out,
hoodie.
bro. It's sick.
Do you have hoodies?
Yeah.
Do you have
We have nuddies. We have no hood. The octopus one. We also have
Wait, no nudies?
no hood. The like sweatshirt with no
Yeah,
hood.
that's just called a sweatshirt, Jen.
We used to call it nuddies in middle school. And
So you took
growing
the-
up, we called them
The
nuddies.
best part
No
of
hoodie.
a hoodie is the hood, and you
We
took
called
that
it a nutty.
I'm so mad at you,
Bro, that's like, I don't know if that was like just a Batavia thing when I was growing up, but yeah, I said that full well expecting you to know what I
Yeah,
was talking about.
I bring it. Well, I bring it to the people. Is nutty a thing? Because I'm mad about it.
But we do have, if you like Minecraft, I have.
I've never played Minecraft.
Okay, well, we have Jenny Scara and the boys Minecraft merch now, but
Yeah.
that's exclusively for shows right now.
Yeah.
But we're probably gonna put it online. But yeah, we have sweatshirts.
Hoodies. You don't have hoodies.
No, we don't have hoodies.
I like I'm an old fashioned. I like a zip hoodie.
A zip hoodie.
Yeah.
That
I don't even like a pullover.
that's.
I have a
crazy.
huge head.
You got to have a lot of space.
I have a lot of space. And I don't like pulling tight things over. it.
Yeah.
This shirt, I was like, man, this is a little tight. I don't like stuff touching my neck either. That's just a collection of uncomfortable things.
Yeah, we got merch. Check that shit out.
Do you have a website?
Yeah, it's all linked. Like if you go to my Instagram and you go to my link tree, it's all linked in there.
Just Jenny Scara? Is it just your personal, or do you have one for the band? Your Instagram?
It's through my label, so it's like Broken Record Music Club / Jenny Scara or something like that. But if you go through my Instagram, are you talking about my Instagram or my website?
I'm asking you. Where do people go to find anything?
Oh, it's just me, like Jenny Scara. If you look up, Instagram is Jenny Scara _86. So is TikTok.
86?
Yeah, I made that in 7th grade. It's my old soccer number from club. I have Facebook is just Jenny Scara.
And all your stuff is on streaming, Spotify.
Yeah, it's Jenny Scara.
Or Amazon. I listen to it on Amazon.
It's on everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But Jenny Scara. Because I also have a favorite song.
which one?
You don't remember? You dick.
Which
You
one?
remember our one conversation like 100 years ago? Come on. What's it? Around the Moon?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I genuinely love that song. In fact, it was my most played song of 2024.
Have you heard "Love Me Back"?
No.
Oh, if you like "Around the Moon," you'll like "Love Me Back," and you'll probably like the first half of "Fighting Not to Feel It," and low key the new Octopus demo. not demo. Hello, Mr. Octopus, like the studio. You'll like the EP.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen to the EP. You'll
Yeah,
like
I mean,
it.
I'm a fan. Everybody should check it out.
Yeah.
I can't tell
Around the
people-
Moon
I can't
is.
tell people what to like, but Around the Moon,
I
I
love
fell
that
in love
song.
with immediately. Mm-hmm. I mean, I will. I don't have to, but I could nitpick the one thing I don't like about it. But there's probably not a
What is
reason
it?
to do that.
Is it the mix?
I
Because
can.
that's my least favorite
Yeah,
part about
well, I
it.
can
Because
forgive
I
the
mixed
mix.
it and I did not know what I was doing.
I can forgive the mix only because like it's an older recording, and like the fact of getting anything out
Yeah.
that sounds good is
Yeah.
fine. Do you have a plan to do a remix or a re-recording? That would be awesome.
So we are probably not for like 2 years, but I do want to re-record that whole EP
That would be
because the way that we play those songs now,
Yeah.
like particularly Around the Moon,
See,
Heal
I'm
the
sure they're
Tide,
way
Forbidden
tighter
Fruit.
and probably sound way better.
Around the Moon, Heal the Tide, and Forbidden Fruit. Heal the Tide and Forbidden Fruit are the only ones from that EP that we still play.
Yeah.
But those Around the Moon still sounds really good. But those 3 songs in particular like need to be re-recorded and re-released as
Yeah.
like an anniversary type thing because they sound so much better live. And they just sound way better now.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Especially Forbidden Fruit. Like, that's usually my favorite part of the set. Forbidden Fruit
Yeah.
always sounds so good. We just jam on that one. It's
I'm
so
gonna
fun.
bring up the nitpick that I do have only because I'm curious if it's in the same vein of something where you're like you had just mentioned, I need this to be this way. So I'm kind of curious if this is one of those things where you're like, I know I want it that way. Mm-hmm. It never happened before because I've never critiqued anything before because I'm always like, well, this is what the artist wants to do,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm behind. But it counts in
Oh, yeah.
and then goes to a guitar riff.
Uh-huh.
So what was the count in for?
Oh, the count-in, I left it because I liked the way that it sounded, but
I knew you
the count-in was from, like, when we were recording, we recorded it live.
Sure.
So,
but like it just seems weird to like when you're counting in, it's for everybody to join in on time.
Well,
And then it just goes to a
it
single
was just
guitar.
him. I don't know. That's just what the producer told us to do.
We'll see if it's like that in 2 years.
He said, I don't actually know why we had to. I think it was just like we're not going to go 1, 2, 3, and I'm not going to just start because we want to make sure everyone's on the same page with where we're at.
Right.
And like, if I just start, maybe somebody wasn't ready and like has the wrong one. So like they
Sure.
come in late. So the 1, 2, 3, no 4 because if you do cut out those, you want to be able to cut them out with no
Right.
sound.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just a marker of like, okay, we're starting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So something you decided while you were mixing it.
Yeah, I like the way it sounded, so I just left it. I did that for Fighting Not to Feel It on the EP as well. I kept the stick clicks in because I liked it. I just think it sounds cool. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the drummer setting the tempo. Like, not everybody has to come in, like, just setting the tempo. And, like, especially on the EP, coming out of Love Me Back into Fighting Not to Feel It with the stick clicks, I think sounds really cool.
I think the stick sounds cool because that adds to the whole mix. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do what I want.
Just do what I want you
Yeah.
to do. It's all about me.
Yeah, but you guys have been playing your asses off
Yeah.
also lately. Like you guys, it seems like you're booked 2 to 3 times a week.
No.
No?
Well, depends. If we're booked twice in a week, it's because they're in 2 different cities.
Right. Well, yeah, you don't want to saturate your market.
Yeah. But I feel like lately there's been a lot of shows because we just released the EP. So
Yeah.
we had
Well, you guys seem to go spiderweb out pretty far also. You said you did a
Yeah,
show in New York?
we did a show in New York and one in Philadelphia in last August. We just did
Were
a
you
show.
invited to those? Or...
Yeah, so a venue in New York reached out to me and asked if I wanted to play there, and I was like, yeah. And I also have a friend out there in a band called Dime, and we were on drumline together. His name's Peter. He's the drummer for that band. So I was like, yo, this venue reached out to me and wants me to play there. Like, do you want to put together a bill with me? And they were like, oh yeah, we know that venue. We played there before. Let's totally do this.
Did they tell you to just book the show?
The booking lady like reached out to me and like asked
who you should play with.
No, so I didn't want to get paired with random bands because I wanted to make sure there was gonna be people there.
You interjected and were like, "Hey, I've got a friend out there already."
Yeah, I want to play. I was like, well, if I'm gonna come out there, I want to have my friends on the bill.
Yeah, because that's a hell of a trek for a Chicago band to go to New York. Like,
yeah,
it's hard enough to play to people out here.
Yeah, so yeah, we did that trip. We just went to St. Louis and Kansas City, which was so much fun.
Yeah. Now, when you play these shows out, are the other bands bringing a decent crowd?
Yeah. Just for the Philly show, the band did not bring a decent crowd, so that was like pretty bummer. But also, we got kind of screwed over with both of us, like as bands, kind of got screwed over with that one because the band that was actually doing the booking like screwed up the dates and told us the wrong venue or the wrong date. Yeah, it was like August. It was supposed to be like August 16th and they're like, "You guys ready for August 15th?" And we're like, no." And they're like, "Well, what? Didn't I say that blah blah blah?" We were like, no, and we scrolled up and like screenshotted the text and they were like, "Oh my god, we're so sorry." I'm like, okay, well, you're dumb. Like, your fault. So then the other band scrambled. The other band, I mean, they didn't pull a crowd, but it's honestly like, it was last minute scramble of, hey, random venue that we played at before, can we please play here? Because, like, we promised this band from Chicago a show, and we just got screwed over, and the venue was like, yeah, sure. So,
so you guys didn't get paid for that then?
I think there were like some people. Like it was like some people. It wasn't like a good crowd.
You
It was
guys
maybe
get
like
paid
10
to go out
people.
to New York?
Yeah, we got paid for that one, but it's not like we sold a lot of merch for that one, which was nice. But we definitely lost money going out there.
Sure, but you probably knew that going into it.
Yeah, no, but I still wanted to go.
Absolutely,
Like,
that's such a cool story
Yeah.
in general. Like,
Yeah.
finally got to go out to New York.
Yeah,
Would have done it for free.
yeah. But in like
You guys
Kansas
have a contract?
with the venue.
Like, yeah, like so by the last couple of years we were a band. When somebody would want to book us, we would just send them our contract. Like, here's what our contract. Here's what we usually get. Not that it's not negotiable, but it's like, this is what we usually get. We'll provide. Do we need to provide sound? Do you want us to book the show? It'd all be in the contract, and then we knew what we were getting into and what we had to do versus what they were gonna do.
No, we don't. I feel like at some point we should, but for where we're at right now, I don't think, like, right now, I just want to know, like, do I need to bring anything?
Yeah.
Should I be the one reaching out to other
See, that's
bands?
why we started hating
And-
getting put on shows.
Yeah.
And we're like, if you're gonna book us, we'll build the show.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily care. Like,
Yeah. It's nice to not have to think about
it's
it.
more like if I'm putting together a show, I'm going more the route of if I'm trying to book out of state, I'm reaching out to bands or like booking people from there. Like that makes
more sense to go out.
Yeah, the dude that booked us for St. Louis and Kansas City is in a band. Oh my god, band called Pastor Bob and the American Taliban, bro. Such an awesome name.
Yeah, that is
hilarious act. Like it's super cool.
Yeah.
It's almost like comedy and music like meshed into one. It's really good. And he booked us in St. Louis and Kansas City. We actually played the show with both shows with them, which was really cool. But that, like, there were a lot of people at both shows, which was like, oh, thank God, you know? Like, and we sold a lot of merch. Like, we also stayed with my my drummer's girlfriend lives in St. Louis. Well, my drummer lives in they live together in St. Louis. So we stayed at his place.
Your drummer lives in St. Louis?
Yeah,
Where
we
do you
can
guys
talk.
practice?
So I write all the music, right?
Like I send it out?
And I give them this, like I send it out to them. And I'm like, okay, you need to figure out your part and you need to show up to rehearsal with your part figured out so that we can just glue everything together and hash out things that need to be hashed out and change things that needs to be changed.
Do you not like have like we practice once a week or twice a week?
Yeah,
and
no.
it's just like, oh, we have a show coming up. We only need to get together at least once to iron this out?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it ends up being it. Honestly, I don't know how it works out so well. I feel like we really all just
I feel like
know
that's
what
the
the
way it
fuck
should
we're
be.
doing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
like if you're
a musician, you can do that.
Exactly. If you know, if you listen to the song and if you played along with the song, and you will know the structure of the song. You know when it's going to change. You know when it's going to end. You know when the stops are.
Yeah.
Like, if you practice the song, you'll be able to play the song at a show. All we have to do is gel it together.
Right.
Like, I'm listening to you, you're listening to me. Like, we're all listening to the drummer. Like, you know, it's really like, if you know your part, we will be fine. That's what I tell the guys. Like, if somebody, it doesn't really happen anymore, but like at the beginning, it was like they would show up and not know the part. I'm like, you need to know. Like, I had to be like authoritative a little bit, which was like, because I'm like, look, you're in my band. If you don't want to be here, like, if you don't want to know the part, you can't be here. Like, that's not on me. And if you don't know the part, like, all you're doing is, I think back to like my marching band days. Like, if we showed up to rehearsal and didn't know the part, we got fried. Like, we got absolutely kicked in the face by our tech. And it was always like, everybody needs to be responsible for their own part. And if you know it, we can show up and we can rehearse and we can actually like gel everything together and get everything the way that it needs to sound.
Yeah.
But if nobody knows their part, what the fuck are we doing? And even if one person doesn't know their part, like, okay, like, now this is a complete waste of everyone's time. Like, now I got to worry about you, you know? Now I got to send you off in your own little room to practice by yourself. Like, I'm not doing that. Have you ever
thought, like, if something like that did happen where it's like, all right, you guys aren't ready to do the show, you could still do the show.
Well, so
you could just play an acoustic set.
The set, we usually only change out. Like, it's not like we're writing like a whole new set every time. So we keep the set like the same. Yeah. Change it out maybe like one or two songs.
Like, you don't change the order or anything? Like, do you have transitions down and stuff?
Yeah, we have transitions written, so we don't usually change the order.
I wish we never did any of that because we're stupid and just get bored easily.
Yeah.
I love the way you guys write, and I think that that's what a professional band does because they live all over the country, and you really, when you're at a higher level, you're only touring X amount of time, so you don't need to be close really. But I don't know. Selfishly, I just don't know if I could enjoy it without like just standing in the basement or in the garage and just ripping at least once a week. Yeah,
I mean, I definitely like. I think it helps that we play a lot because we're like.
It keeps you tight.
Yeah. But also like if we don't have a show, like if there's like 3 weeks and we don't have a show, like one of the weekends we're definitely getting together. So
the rest doesn't build. That makes sense.
And then the rehearsal, like we might rehearse like 2 days or it might be like one day for like 5 hours.
Yeah. Because I would also like it was because I've done both. In my main band, I was lucky enough to be one of the main parts of the creative force. Yeah. Like the singer did all the lyrics and stuff, but you know the way we wrote the music was awesome and collaborative. But then I also played with my friend Jillian, who had her own solo stuff, and she would just play acoustic, and I would play bass, and we did shows, and it was so nice, just being spoon fed. Where it's just like just follow what she's doing, and I don't have to think about anything, and it's just amazing music. So there's definitely something nice about being just plugged in. Yeah. It'd be like, oh, this is kind of nice. I don't even have to do anything.
Yeah. I think like with especially like bass too. Like I tell like my bassist if he doesn't know the song, I might run it through it with him like once.
Yeah.
But and just like tell him the chord progression.
Right.
But like on bass, you can I'm like I don't care what you do. Like but like with drums is a different story. Like if there's a stop and you're still playing, like then the stop isn't a stop, you know.
Right. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
But like as a bassist, like you can hide that.
I would dare you to try to hide my bass line. Listen to my old stuff and try to hide my bass lines. That's awesome though. Do you have a good following then locally also?
Yeah. Our main hub's down in Bloomington Normal.
I see
but
you guys play down there often.
Yeah, that's like where the band was formed.
That's where we recorded our last album.
Oh, where at?
Eclipse.
I don't know Eclipse.
There's
recorded at Oxide Lounge.
Yeah, there's Lounge.
Oxide Lounge, yeah.
Is that an actual lounge?
It's a recording studio. Yeah, that's just what it's
Eclipse
called.
Studios is down there. This gentleman Eric runs it.
Okay.
But our sound engineer and who played guitar for us, our friend Dave, he's good friends with Eric that runs Eclipse, so we went down there.
Oh, okay, bad.
Which is awesome.
Was it good?
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we
Eclipse.
get off,
Are they still doing it?
oh yeah.
Okay, I have to.
When we get off, I'll have you listen to the album on your drive home. Mm-hmm. Even just from a sound mix standpoint, like you can listen to the album and hate it.
Yeah, but just from
you don't have
a
to
sound.
say yeah so fast.
Yeah. No. I get exactly what you mean. Like listen to like the way that it sounds.
But it's mixed. It's mixed really well.
Sweet.
The place is incredible down there. Because my cousin lives somewhere down there also.
Oh, okay. What's the rate?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Because that's like
this was so long ago.
Like being like all of us being young. Like that's the other thing that we're worried about is like I want to make this song sound really good, but that costs money.
Right.
So
well, that's where it like to be perfectly honest, a good workaround for that is you can do a lot of stuff on your own. Yeah. These days, even in our day, we did a lot of stuff on our own. Mm-hmm. That's how we drilled the shit out of this stuff, and we made sure that we had it down perfect. Yeah. So like by the time we went down there, like we cut drums and bass together. Yeah. Because we just play off each other. Yeah. One take. Yeah. And did the whole set that was going to be recorded done in one day, and then he takes a day to mix and master and mix that. Yeah. But if you can get a decent recording anywhere, and then just have it mastered by somebody. Yeah. That's where it's going to make a huge difference. Right. Because a lot of people overlook getting something mastered. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I tend to worry more about the mix. Yeah. Mostly because like a lot of the stuff that I end up putting in the song is not stuff that we recorded at the recording studio. Like it's stuff that I'll just record on my own. Right. Well, that's why it needs to be mastered. Yeah. Because it'll blend that all beautifully together. Yeah. Yeah, the mixing is more the area where because I feel like the reason one, like with money, the reason I mixed that first EP is, I kind of realized like through mixing that first EP is like how much creativity is in mixing. Yeah. And like this is, yeah. I enjoy it when I know what I'm doing. Well, it's so, but like if it's so not tedious. Yeah, if it's not sounding like I enjoy it because of the creative aspect of it and like being able to hear it and then like implement things and like automate things to like do whatever and like add weird little things or whatever. But I don't like when it doesn't sound like what I want it to sound like. Yeah. Or I have no fucking idea what it sounds like. I'm like, I don't know if this is good. I don't know. That's one of the harder parts, too, about recording with somebody is now having another interpretation of what that's going to sound like. Yeah. And that can be
really hard.
Really hard. Like, I was a dick in our first and second album. I was very hard to work with because I wanted my stuff to sound a specific way. Yeah. I wanted it to come off a certain way. And I play a pretty flashy style that I want to be showcased. Like I'm the guy who's like, all right, you guys all turn to 8, I'll be at 10. Yeah. But in the last album, I was, I trusted my friend Dave enough and we kind of collaborated and worked together, just sound wise and stuff that I would never do. Like we brought a 5-string bass. I'm a 4-string purist.
Yeah.
But we brought the 5-string, and on a couple of things, like we used those extra bottoms and stuff for that.
Yeah.
It really made a difference, and I trusted him to make. I'm like, you know my sound now. We've played enough,
right.
and I don't have the creativeness of the whole picture,
Right.
So I trust you guys to do that.
Yeah.
And I think it came out really well.
Yeah.
Because I was able to not be a dick.
Yeah. My new strategy that I came up with, so I've this guy that mixed my EP. So I mixed the 2 singles that came out, but then I sent it to him to have it like everything mixed and even the 2 singles like remixed for the EP.
Yeah.
But he just reached out to me on Instagram. He liked the way that he liked my sound and like my content.
Yeah.
Met with him on Discord, and he works with the guy that owns like Pearl Sound Studios, I think, in Michigan, which I looked and was like pretty big like it had like 14,000 followers, and they were verified. So I was like, oh, okay. Listened to some of their stuff, and I was like, okay, this sounds good. But my new approach is I know what I want it to sound like, and I can get it almost there, but I can't get it clean.
Right.
So I'm going to mix it and get it as good as I can, and I'm going to send it to you, and this is what I want it to sound like. So you can hear what's coming out. Like if there's like a vibrato on something, like a guitar or whatever, like you can hear that. Or if like the synth is in there, if I just send you the stems, you don't know how much I want the synth to be standing out. But if I send you my version of the mixed track, you can be like, okay, like you want it a little bit so that you can like hear it if you try to look for it, but not so much that if you don't know it's there, you won't notice it. Okay, like you basically like I told him, I was like, I'm going to send you the mix, and then I want you to do what I did, but just better. And he's like, okay.
Do you feel as you're getting farther into this and as you're growing, do you feel that you're relinquishing more control or tightening control? Because there's something, even though we just said it's hard to let somebody touch, it's also, there's definitely something to be said about stepping away and letting somebody cook.
Yeah. I definitely have been letting go of control a lot more.
Yeah. I think as we improve and we start getting comfortable, even like with just sharing our ideas in the first place, you're like, all right, now we've done this enough. I trust you.
Yeah, it's really
this.
like trust.
Yeah.
Like at first, like, you know, like it was the first EP, like this is the first time playing with this band. Like I just like met these guys a few months ago, and like, you know, I don't really know you super well yet. But now that like we've been playing together almost 2 years, like I have 100% trust that what they're going to do is going to sound good and like is going to, and if I want it to be something different, like I'll just tell you, you know.
Is this your first band?
Well, when I was in high school, I played with my friends Maddie and Jack. But that was more, well, me and Maddie and Jack too, later we'd perform, like I would sing and sometimes play guitar, and then Jack would play bass and Maddie would play guitar, and we would play at Limestone in Batavia a lot. We played for Lauren Underwood one time, the congresswoman.
That's
we played for her fundraiser at my friend Emma's house, who also ended up joining the little band we had. She played keys. Yeah, we like wrote songs. There was one time we were playing it. We had a scheduled to play at Limestone, and Emma was gonna play with us too. And Limestone hit us up and was like, "Yo, so actually we just got in trouble because people have been coming in here and playing covers, so we just got fined for a copyright something." They got fined like $1,000. I don't know why.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
You're allowed to play covers.
I
They just
don't.
can't be recorded or distributed.
Yeah, I don't know what. I think you have to have like if you're gonna play covers, you have to have like a license. I think.
What?
I think. I don't know what the rule
You
is.
guys
but
ever play covers?
we were only we played like maybe like 4 originals at the time, but the rest were covers.
But like now, do you play covers?
Maybe we'll play one.
Yeah. That's what we once in a while throw one into our set.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you don't need There's nothing
Yeah,
special.
no.
You just
But
play.
so they told us that, and they were like, if you want to play here, like they all have to be originals. We're like, oh my god. So we spent like a
Did
week.
you tell them this is the Midwest? That's the opposite of what everybody wants.
we spent like a week and we wrote like 11 original songs.
Oh my god.
And it ended up being really cool. So
Do you think all 11
that Around the
songs-
Moon is from that
Really?
bout. Yeah, it was from that bout of
from
writing.
the original band? The
Yeah.
old school like
Yeah.
that?
Yep.
That's awesome. I couldn't imagine kicking out song. Like sometimes you just can sit down and shit just pours out.
Yeah.
But other times it's like you can tell when a song feels forced or needs to be shelved
Usually
for a while.
if a song feels forced, I don't even end up finishing
Yeah, you
it.
just put it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll maybe do like
come
a
back to
verse and then if I can't like
Yeah.
get any more out, I'm like, yeah, no.
one of the things I like is to secretly, as we're writing other stuff, take some of those riffs
Yeah.
and start plugging in another
Fighting
stuff.
Not to Feel It ended up being like 3 different songs that I like couldn't figure out where to go next. So it was like actually like just 3 different like parts of a song, and then I ended up putting like the chorus was its own little gonna be its own little separate song, and the verses were its own little separate song, and then the back half was its own little separate song. And then I just was like, I don't even know why I decided to put them all together. I just decided to do that, and then they all fit, and I was like, okay. This is awesome.
That is awesome. Do you have you dated since college then?
Yeah, like not super. I feel like I don't really date like a lot.
Is that by choice?
Yeah, mostly. Like I feel like I get caught up in my own like things that I'm doing.
Like it would take a specific kind of person
Yeah.
that understands that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which might not be fair to them.
Yeah, but well also like yeah. I feel like if I don't know, I'm not one to like I've been with people but not like for long. And it's more like I am not really one to like seek it out. Like if I should be better with that. Like I'm trying to be better with that, but
What do you mean?
like seek it out in terms of I feel like I usually am one to just like wait, and if something happens with somebody then it happens, but I'm usually like not even thinking about like trying to like date anyone or like go on dates with anyone.
Are you like me where you just sit playing video games and you're like, somebody will show up at the house?
Yeah. No, I'm like cuz I'm just doing like my music shit all the time, and like you know I live at home with my parents, so it's not like I'm like going out and meeting people all the time. It was easier like when I was at school,
Yeah.
meeting
You don't do
people.
dating
But
websites?
no, I
dating
do,
apps?
but it's not like you know how those go. You just kind of like
Yeah. You talk to somebody and then out of nowhere you just stop talking.
yeah, or like you
nothing
just
goes
match
anywhere.
with them and then neither
don't-
of you
yeah.
ever say anything, and
Right.
yeah, that happens
It's
all
it's
the time.
so weird actually.
Yeah,
It's funny because every single one of us on a dating app hates small talk,
yeah,
and then you've left it where there's no way to communicate with somebody because
Yep.
guess what? All conversations start with small talk.
yeah.
That's just a necessary evil.
Yep. Yeah, so I feel like I've talked to a couple people within like the past year, but it's not really like they were like for a month. So it's not like I don't know. I feel like dating should be more of a priority for me, but it's like kind of not.
Yeah. I feel like it seems like you're open to a specific situation
Yeah.
if it presents itself, and if not,
Yeah.
just as good.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm just kind of chilling.
Now, you'd also earlier mentioned when your mom was trying to trick you into coming out that you didn't want kids at the time. Does that
Yeah,
mean
but
you
now
do?
I want kids.
Do you want kids?
I think I will not right now, but
right, but like in general.
I think it will be something that I will want. I think I'm not like I want kids, but I'm definitely open to it.
Yeah.
And like I think it'd be cool to have a kid. But again, like, would I want a kid right now? No. So
Have you
I
thought it
don't
out
know.
as far as do you physically want to have kids?
Oh hell no, not physically. That's why this music thing. This
Yeah.
music thing's gonna work out because I'm gonna get a surrogate.
Yeah. Well, maybe partner, right?
Yeah, but I don't want to be like, you have to have the kid,
Well,
because that would be
yeah,
shitty.
fair.
Yeah,
But if they wanted to, yeah.
I would be like, hell yeah. And they just made the thing where, like, you can fertilize an egg with a stem cell.
Yeah.
So now lesbians can have babies, and I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah. Still barely have any kind of rights or any social status, but at least
At least we can have babies.
that's right. I'll take a victory where I can.
Yeah, really. Did you see maybe it was today, the UK, I was watching C-SPAN and I looked up, it was on in the background and I was playing Minecraft and I looked up and it said UK Supreme Court decides on definition of a woman. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is
It's
that?
ridiculous.
Oh my god. Like, I was like, what? Who gets to just decide that?
Right.
Like, where's the one for the man?
No, dude. Men are just. We just
It's
are.
we just yeah, clearly. They just are.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's also
oh my god,
a bunch of old men defining what a woman is.
Exactly. Like, I looked up the makeup of the Supreme Court in the UK. It was like, I think there was one woman on the court.
Yeah.
It was all men. I was like,
Definitely
are you
sausage
fucking
fest.
kidding me?
Not a gray bush.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was. I was like, this is the most degrading thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, but it ended up being like excluding trans women from the definition of women.
Yeah.
It was like only biological women can be women. Okay, well, what about like intersex people? And
Yeah.
like, what? Huh? Like,
Yeah. Well, they
why
don't
are
want to
you-
admit that those things exist.
yeah, they're like, oh my god, that shit makes me so mad.
It's infuriating,
Yeah.
100%, because it doesn't. The last episode I recorded was with my friend Raya, who's a transgender woman, and we talked a long time, and a lot of that stuff came up because it is ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense, and at the end of the day, in 20 years, you're gonna look back and be like, we were stupid.
Yeah, it's like, I just don't get why people care so much about what other people are doing. You know, like, what do you care?
Listen, what's in your pants defines your worth.
Yeah, clearly.
Not only that, what you do with what's in your pants defines your worth. That's just the America or the world.
That's
we
the
live in.
way, hey, man.
Yeah.
It's man's world.
That's right. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but I'm hoping that that's, again, like we already said, it's kind of in its infancy to be brought to the forefront.
Yeah.
And I think every day we're moving in the right direction, despite what it looks like. Our current landscape is
It's
very
kind
different.
of like,
Yeah. Well, right now we're in a
trajectory's up, but right now we're on the way down.
right. Yeah. Right now we're on.
But
a
it'll go
decline.
back up.
Yeah. Well, because it's a double-edged sword. Even being on a decline like we are politically right now, and I don't want to speak for you, but in my opinion at least, we're in a decline right now.
100%.
But even in a decline, it shows all of the people fighting against that are like, no, this is wrong.
Yeah.
When they see what's actually happening, and they're like, no, fuck that. I do not want that.
Yeah.
And which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And that'll hopefully build to the swing up when we get out
What's
of this
that
slump.
beeping?
Is that an alarm clock going off? That's hilarious. I guess that means our time's up.
I just want to make sure I don't press.
Is it snooze?
Well, I didn't want to press snooze.
Oh, right.
It would go off again.
That's true. Smart.
Yeah, I'm pretty much a genius.
So what do you suppose is the next for you? Kids eventually, maybe, if that's in the cards. We don't even... even if you don't end up with a partner, do you think you still have kids, maybe?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah? Would you rather have a
I
partner?
honestly, I don't like to think about like
Anything.
the way future. Like I just
Yeah.
because you make this whole plan for yourself and then you get to like the age where you think that that's going to happen and you're in a
Yeah.
completely different situation,
Sure.
like I just don't. I'm very much like a free-spirited, go with the flow kind of, this is what I want.
Yeah.
This is what I feel is right. Like right now I'm like, ever since I was a kid, like
Right.
I've always wanted to be a singer and like
Yeah.
be a freaking rock star and like tour the world and make music and like play with.
Is that success then? Touring the world?
Well, success to me is being able to, the first tier of success for me is I can quit my job and do music full time and be able to sustain myself.
Sure.
The tier that I want to get to, that I remember like when I was in high school, my mom was telling me about her dream house.
Yeah.
And it's like a log cabin in the woods, like A-frame overlooking a lake, like in the middle of the woods. And I remember thinking like, I'm going to be rich and famous. I'm going to buy that for my mom. And that's like, that's when I'm like, okay, I've like made it, is when I can do that. That's always been like a goal of mine, is like being able to give to my family and like give my family a good life,
Yeah.
even my like having enough wealth to like extend out to my extended family too,
Right.
so that we can all like be big chillin' together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like hearing you talk about it, because it's the same dream every one of us dickheads had. But and eventually, like, everybody decides what their level of success means to them, right? Because I remember when we first put out our first album, I was like, damn, this is the tops, kids.
Yeah.
And then we put out another album, and like the first time like you bring the most fans, the first time you like, what's the most money you guys have ever made on a show?
We made like $700 once, but
Yeah.
that was like, I mean, I don't know how much money I'm supposed to be making at shows.
No,
Like
there's no-
right now,
there's no
honestly,
rule,
like
Most are still gonna be nothing.
yeah, because
But it feels amazing. What I'm saying is like it's a milestone when you make money.
yeah, oh
and
yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
Holy shit!
yeah.
Now, how do we do this every
We
time?
usually make, I mean, sometimes we don't, but like we usually make money.
Yeah.
We usually get money.
You put that
which is
back
nice.
into the band then?
So I was splitting it just like even with everybody that was playing, because like I thought of that as like show money is time worked essentially. So we all worked the same amount of time during the show, so like
Yeah.
we'll split it even. But now that we're more like, and that was also more like when it was thought of like more as a solo project with a band, but now it
Right.
feels more like a band.
Yeah.
So I
That's
asked
the goal, is to have it sustain itself.
Right. So I asked the guys, I was like, yo, is it cool, like, if, like, I don't want anybody to have to pay to get to the show. Like, I don't want you to lose money to get here. So, like, Nick, if we're playing in Chicago and he has to buy a train ticket to Chicago, I want to reimburse you for your ticket. And is it okay, like, whatever's left over I take and put into a recording fund? So
that's how you pay for mixing
exactly,
and mastering.
exactly.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, that's cool. Like, that's totally fine. So, yeah, I'm trying to, like, I feel like now, especially, I feel like before the band was like the members would like kind of fluctuate and like who was in the band and who was playing, whatever. But now, the band is like the band, like set.
Right.
And if any of these fuckers like tried to leave, I'd be like, fuck, like you're no, all of us, like, no, I love you too much. But the band is set now, and it's like we're all like really close, so it feels more like an actual band.
Yeah.
That just like happens to be my name.
Right.
Because we can't, like, I feel like I can't change that now. So yeah, I just love the band. The guys are so awesome.
Yeah, it's nice when you build that like you become a family. Like there's
Yeah.
no way about it, and it's genuinely a family where you're gonna bump heads, and you're gonna fight. That's part of it. You can realize that okay, this is only happening because we're both so passionate about this, and it kind of eases that tension. But then, well, in your case, you get to be like, it's still my band, so.
Yeah, that is the nice part.
I'm gonna be the old guy for a minute too, because, man, I feel like back in our day, so there's a guy in Chicago that would burn CDs for you.
Okay, yeah.
And so you would pay like $200 and he would just make you 1,000 CDs.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. So you put like 2 songs on there and put your next 3 show flyers in the thing. And then we would go to every show in Chicago and hand out thousands of CDs.
Oh, that's really smart.
It was smart. I don't think you can't do that anymore.
Why not?
Because I feel like physical media is not a thing anymore.
Low key, we made CDs and those actually sell really well.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
they do.
That's what you do is at least you should be flyering at all local shows if you're playing in the area. You know, just to try to get the stuff because that's what we always try to think outside the box.
Yeah.
So instead of going and enjoying the show, we would just go. Every one of us had a backpack with
a bunch of CDs,
a couple hundred CDs, and as the crowd's coming out, bam, 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 handing them out.
Yeah.
We would go to and just put them on the windshields of the cars in the parking lot. Like,
yeah, that's smart.
We actually got in trouble for flyering parking lots.
Really?
Yeah, the city was like, "Hey, this is just blowing around our city now.
Like you can't do this. Yeah.
Stop being dicks." We used to have the stickers.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I stick them. Yeah, I got stickers, and I give those out for free at shows, and I just
put them on all the gas stations, stop signs, like vandalism.
I put them in the bathrooms, and I'll put them like on the ground in front of the toilet, so that like if a dude's peeing, they have to stare at it. Or I'll put it like on the back of the toilet seat.
Yeah.
So that you lift up the toilet seat and it says my name. It's so funny.
But that's the kind of stuff that's fun, and then you do it as a group too, and it kind of builds.
Yeah.
I was lucky because all of us went to school together and came up together, and then eventually became a band together.
Right.
And it's just awesome.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky, but I'm a jam whore. Mm-hmm. Like if somebody wants to jam, I'm in.
Yeah.
'Cause I want to play with all the musicians.
Yeah.
If your bass player ever leaves, I want to be the old guy who's like, let me show these young bucks. But yeah, it gets me all nostalgic because I do miss it. You know, you grow up and your priorities change too, and like there's other stuff that I'm doing now. Also, you're talking about too is we always put all of our money back into the band. Mm-hmm. So in the contract I was talking about, our rate was $1,200, which it felt awesome to be at a place where like, okay, we're at least gonna get our going rate,
right?
Which is cool because you're like, all right, ideally we shouldn't step down from this. Mm-hmm. Other than like whatever one-off deals we make with whoever.
What kind of venue were you playing at? Like big venues? How big was your band?
I honestly don't know.
Well, what kind of venues were you playing at?
We would play at we played Reggie's a few times. We would play like bigger bars out here. A lot of the places are all gone. The places we used to play. Because you figure our last album came out in 2010.
Oh, shit, okay.
So it's been a long time. It was just funny because that album is on streaming and it says that it came out in like 2022. That's when we put it on streaming.
Oh, okay.
And it wouldn't let us backdate it.
Right.
Or at least we didn't figure out how to backdate it.
Yeah.
But it actually was done in 2010.
Okay.
And we were working on that when that album came out. Like, literally, as we were wrapping it up, our singer's like, I'm moving to California.
Ah.
We're like, bruh, we just got an actual, like, really good album done.
Yeah.
And he's like,
sorry.
Like, okay.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it was all right. But it's like, it's still that. So when we would bring the money in, then that would pay for, like, all right, let's go press 200 or the 1,000 CDs. Right. Let's do all the advertising and stuff like that. Because we never really, I don't remember us ever taking money. Like, we would play out in Wisconsin. Like, I think Wisconsin's probably as far as we went. Like Marshfield, like the middle of Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. It was awful. It was in a church with the bands. Nobody brings anybody.
Oh,
There used to be this club, North Beach. We played North Beach, was a bigger deal. And like the first time they booked us, we brought like 80 people, and they were like they were stoked on us from then on. Like, but you know, it's hard to measure your level of success because I'm sure you know, like you play a show to 10 people, you play a show to 100
Yeah.
people. There's so many.
Yeah, you play
factors.
like a show to like 100 people like 3 times in a row. You're like, bet. And
Yeah.
then the next show you have, it's like fucking 15
Right, and
people.
you're like, oh,
and
right,
you're
we're
like,
still
oh,
nothing.
shit.
But like the playing at Reggie's is awesome.
Yeah, we got a show there on May 1st.
Yeah.
We also have a show tomorrow at
I
Cobra Lounge.
love Cobra Lounge is an awesome venue.
Yeah.
I played there with my friend Jillian, I believe. And Reggie's is one of my favorite venues in general. Seeing a
Reggie's
band,
is
playing
cool.
a band. There's a sewer on stage.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But we played the Taste of Chicago 2 years in a row. Like when I worked at Best Buy, we got a hookup to do that. That
Oh,
was
hell
really
yeah.
cool because there's so many people just walking by.
Yeah.
So we've got to do some cool things.
I would love to do that. I
We
gotta
got
figure out how
to
to
somebody
get on that.
once hit us up and used one of our songs in a political cartoon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And we were like, we have to go into the studio and tweak some stuff, so you'll have to pay for that. So we made like $1,200
Oh, nice.
for him to and just let him license the song.
Bet.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's sick.
I don't even know if we ever saw that. I think for me personally, the best thing was, I don't know if it's still around. There is a local band magazine. I don't even remember what the hell it's called at all, but they reviewed our album in there, and like our band was called Absolutely Perfect, which is a pretentious name that we came up with, me and the drummer, and the other guys hated it. But they were like, with a name like Absolutely Perfect, you know, bunch of dickheads. But like, but the album's not far from the mark. It's pretty good. And I was like, hell yeah, I could retire on that.
Yeah, hell yeah. Was it it wasn't Chicago Reader, was it? Because I know they do a lot of write-ups.
Yeah.
Was it them?
Yeah, that's what.
Oh, okay, bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Hell yeah.
100 years ago. The point is, I'm important too. But I will not bore you anymore with a walk down my memory lane.
No, you're chilling. That was sick.
Thanks, brah. So I know you don't like to think about the future, but you just said, so this won't come out. We're recording, but this won't come out until probably the middle to end of May.
Okay.
Do you guys have anything scheduled out farther?
I think we're playing this like thing called wait, who the hell am I even looking up? Hang on. I think it's May 13th. It's a river show. It's back farther. I don't know when it is. I think it's May 13th.
It doesn't matter. Go.
But go follow me on
Yeah.
the stuff and you'll figure it out.
Everybody go listen to Around the Moon also, because
True.
like I know I'm hugging that one song, and the other ones I've listened to I also enjoy, but there's just something about that song that captivates me, and I'm curious if it's just like just that just happened to speak to me on an emotional level, or if it is that good.
Around the Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah. That song, like, I just kind of like, when we wrote it, I wrote the lyrics.
Is there a story behind the lyrics, or is it just?
I just wrote it.
Whatever.
It's just a story. Yeah, I just like made the whole thing up.
Disappointing.
I know, right? It was like, I think it might have vaguely been related to a crush I had at the time, but like, not really.
The hook is why it's so good. The hook is what grabs you, and it's like, because it all flows so well, and uncomfortably catchy.
Thank you. Yeah. I feel like I don't really know how I figured it out, but I remember listening to like this guy Shane Koizan he's like a poet, but he's like a slam poet kind of. And I listened to him a lot before I wrote the first song, and I remember I don't know how I did it myself, but I remember like thinking about how I liked the way that his words sounded together. I liked the way that his sentences sounded together. And there's kind of like a comfortability in lyrics where when you're singing them, like the what you're singing and like the melody of it and like the rhythm of it just kind of like you know when it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
You know, because it feels like you're like, it either feels too, there's not enough words or you're trying to jam too much.
Right.
Like, you can't force it. You just have to like, or if you're writing like poetry and you're like trying to turn it into a song, the lines you write might fit when you're speaking them, but when you're singing them, they don't fit. So then you have to like flow it into the next phrase, flow like that sentence into the next phrase in a different way, or like take out some words, or I don't know how I figured that out. I really have no idea how I figured any of this out.
If I had to guess, it's by not overthinking it.
Yeah, it's just
because
like
you could easily talk yourself into stagnation and just be, I don't know what to do, and I'm overthinking this. But just let it kind of breathe. There's there's not an old saying, but there's a forever saying in music: you got to play for the song.
Yeah.
And that's something that doesn't make sense until you're writing music.
Yeah, exactly. Playing for the song. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's just like I have no fucking idea, man. It just comes out, and I don't know why. I feel like ever since I was a kid too, like with songwriting, it's just been like, not even songwriting, just when I was little, like I would have like little diddles in my head that I would just say.
Yeah.
And little like songs, but like, you know, little singy things that I would just make up and sing over and over, like just stimming basically.
Yeah.
That would just pop into my head. And that's really like songwriting. Like I swear to God, I don't do any work. Like it just like is usually like a little diddle that pops in my head. I'm like, oh my God, I should write this down. Yeah. Like that sounds really cool.
Now we see the real reason you want to be famous, because you're lazy.
Yeah, I want everyone to do everything for me. I don't want to wash my own feet.
I think that's a good place to end the. Check out Jenny Scara. It's spelled just like it sounds. Scara.
Yeah. Jenny, not that IE bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm so anti-IE, it's not even funny.
Yeah. Or EY pisses me off.
EY, that's
just not, shouldn't be allowed.
Or Jenny just with an I. Bro, shut up.
Jenny.
Yeah.
I have a hard time not saying it like Forrest Gump every single time.
Though. Oh, so many people.
I think that's why I stick with Jen.
Oh, so you don't even get tempted?
Bruh. Dude, like, Jenny. It's impossible not to. I did want to touch on one last thing. We joked around a lot about really serious stuff and talked about some things that might feel uncomfortable. And luckily what we talked about, it doesn't sound like you had any kind of hard...
what did we talk about that was uncomfortable?
Upbringing. Well, we made a lot of jokes about serious stuff. Like,
oh, yeah, but you gotta. When you're traumatized.
No, I'm with you, but what I'm saying is like, not every story is that positive.
Oh, yeah.
Not every story can be joked about like that.
Right.
So I feel like we're both very fortunate to be able to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's awesome, because not everybody can, but I want everybody to feel safe. I don't want people to be afraid to feel uncomfortable. It's okay. Like, we're fine.
Yeah.
But if you are stuck and need help, seek it out. There's so many people, like, call somebody, put it out, put it in
Oh
diary,
yeah,
whatever you
bro.
need.
If you're stuck and need
Yeah.
help, everything's gonna be okay. In the end, man, you got homies that got your back, and even if
Yeah.
you don't even know them, they got your back. Like hotlines and all that.
Right.
You know, you got it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all right.
You're like a modern hippie.
That's my philosophy. Like the mark I want to leave on the world is like, dog, everything's gonna be okay. Like
Yeah.
even if it's not cool right now, like you got this, man. Like you got this. Self love and like self empowerment. Like you got this, big dog.
Yeah, exactly that. Let's end on that self love and empowerment.
You got this, big dog.
Big dog.